Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Hello, everybody. Hello. So some of you guys may be aware that I've been very sick, but I'm finally feeling a little bit better. I got better, Monty Python. And so I was thinking, well, I can finally keep working on these timestamps. And I thought, you know what? Let me do this because I thought it'd be fun to do this together for a number of reasons. One, I didn't know that I would have the stamina or the voice to, like, for example, read through the death penalty motions for Shanna Gardner or the Murdoch appeal. You know, a lot of the things I had scheduled would involve a lot of reading, and I didn't know if my voice would last. And also, as far as the next Casey Anthony episode, that would also that would be very long. So I thought, you know, this would be really fun. This is what I wanted to do anyway, because you guys know how I am with these timestamps. And so think of this as kind of akin, I would say, to other channels that have like members only, where they have the members only, where it's like behind the scenes or whatever. You're just chilling, you're doing other things. It's not necessarily like, you know, a program or what have you. This is kind of like that. But also, I will say this much, that this interview, for anyone who has seen it or anyone who hasn't seen it, is worth watching many times, because there's a lot of crazy things that happen. There's a lot of things that are easy to miss. And a lot of times, at least for me, I catch things when I'm doing the timestamps that I might have missed when we were live. So that's why I think for me and for everybody, this could be beneficial, but this is just going to be fun. In case you're wondering what we're looking at here, I have it in theater mode. Why? Because if I have this full screen, I can't go back and forth to where I do the timestamps. So literally, this is you seeing how this is done. So this was the way that you guys could have the best view, but also this way you can see the live chat replay as well. So what I'll be doing is we'll be watching this, and I'll be jumping back and forth and doing the timestamps as we go along, and we'll be talking about it and whatnot. So that's sort of the plan for tonight, guys. Shout out to everybody who's here. Shout out to Tennis Girl. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Happy you're here. And to Black Witter, and to Candace, and to Kitsmits. Love all of you guys. Thanks for being here. There's a lot of crazy stuff that I've already been noticing going through and doing the timestamps that hadn't caught the first time around. And you guys might recall me sneezing a few times here and there back then, past couple live streams. And so that was sort of the sneezing that, you know, just seemed like, oh, it's just sneezing, right? But anyway, timestamp and chill. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's what we are doing here. So yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with some Wendi action here. Got a Glenn comment right off the bat here. Excellent. Wonderful. Wonderful. Classic. Oh my God. Right? There's Shenanigans. Oh, Glenn. That part. So because I was writing comments, I missed this the first time around. So what she just said is important. She said, I could see one of, so that's why I timestamped it. I could see one of my friends wanting to shake him a little bit. Isn't that interesting, right? I could see one of my friends wanting to shake him a little bit. Again, almost like a pseudo admission, right? So where I had left off, this I think is where I had left victim ad. Uncivil Law's back. Shout out to Uncivil Law. Glad you're here again. Awesome. I saw you were playing some video games earlier. I was really excited to see that you were live, and I was like, just so you know, I literally have never played video games, so unfortunately, I can't really, understand what's happening. But thanks for being here again. Yes. Okay. So who is a Wendi Adelson? That is who you're looking at right here. And Wendi Adelson, let me pull up my other thumbnail because the initial video for this, you'll appreciate this on Civil. So check this out. So the initial thumbnail that I had for this was, okay, so less than 22 minutes in, throws her brother under the bus. Less than 27 minutes in, asks to be read her Miranda rights. Less than 28 minutes in, quote, they're going to think I did it, end quote. Less than 41 minutes in, quote, I'm assuming I'm a suspect, end quote. And she's an attorney. She's an attorney. So yes, there you go. There you go. If you've not heard about the Adelsons, then you're in for a wild ride here. But the big news that prompted the live stream with this interrogation that I did the other night was because word on the street has it that they're coming for her, and she will be the sixth person arrested in this case, if indeed they do come for her, over 10 years in the making. So, and if you'd like to know more about this case, I'd be more than happy to recap that for anyone who is unfamiliar. But, murder for hire, but full of lots of people who are self-snitching and an entire family affair, as it were. The victim in this case, Dan Markel, was a beloved law professor at Florida State University. By the way, Peter Tragos was a student of his and speaks very highly of him. And he was considered to be a brilliant scholar who was headed for greatness. He went to Harvard for school, and then was teaching at FSU, but no one thought he would be there for very long because he was just so brilliant, according to like everybody. Right? Yeah, murder for hire is bad. Don't do the murder for hire. Words of wisdom coming from Uncivil Law, everybody. Right. And then thank you, Kit Smith's elaborating. Also, the police never told her she was a person of interest. Right. And did not read her rights. Yes. Correct. Yep. Yeah. And this interrogation, thank you. This interrogation was like, when it began, was like less than 3 hours after the murder. So far the arrests in this case, you have the two hitmen who, by the way, drove a green Prius. And then you have the middle woman. Then you have the brother. Those have already been convicted. Then you have the fifth arrest was her mother, Donna, who's awaiting trial. So she would be number 6, if indeed it does come to that. And there is a video. Let me look at my timestamps here. I don't think I've gotten to that with the timestamps yet, but there is a video that I do play at some point. We'll get to it, it looks like, of where that news. Oh, wait, no. Let's watch that real quick. Let's watch the video real quick since I have that timestamped, and then we'll come back to where we were. Because, hold on real quick. Let's see here. That way you guys can hear exactly what is going on with this for the big news. Here we go. Ahead a little bit. Okay. Here we go. So this was on Vinny's show the day before Christmas Eve. Yeah. You can hear the video. Uncivil can't hear the video. No sound. That is weird. That is very weird. I don't know why there's no sound. Can you guys hear me? Could you guys hear the sound before? That is very weird. Why there's no sound. Oh, let me see something real quick. It might be because, hold on, let me unshare, reshare. Hold on. Aha, here we go. Got it. Okay. Let's see if this is any better, guys. Let's see if this is any better. This might fix it. Hold on. We got it.
I don't know.
Is it exclusive?
Is
Happy to be at the party now.
Yeah, Vinny, I know it is the day before Christmas Eve, but we never stop at Surviving the Survivor. We've got some
Can y'all hear?
breaking true crime news, sort of,
guys.
Which I will share with Vinny Politan, and that is
Wait, this is an exclusive?
is an exclusive. This is an
Okay.
exclusive. So we were speaking at this event in Sunrise, Florida. Ruth Markel was here. I don't have a tripod. I'm doing this the old school way. So this is going to be really good for my neck, by the way. But anyway,
You're a good chiropractor.
Yeah, look how stiff my neck's been killing me for 3 weeks, but I won't bore people with that.
No,
but anyway,
we will tell you all about this problem.
So long story short, we're speaking at an event with Ruth Markel. If the guests are familiar with the Dan Markel story, Dave Arenberg, myself, and Ruth spoke, but then Dave Arenberg, state attorney, said he was just recently with the state attorney, Jack Campbell, out of Leon County. And per Dave Arenberg, it's not 1,000% confirmed, but...
Now, by the way, Leon County is the county where Tallahassee, right? So Jack Campbell is like Georgia Kappelman's boss.
And Georgia got an award, a very big award.
Georgia's named
Georgia Kappelman. So she was there. Like I said, Georgia Kappelman was there. She got a big award.
Assistant Prosecutor of the Year.
One in thousands of assistant prosecutors, and she got the awards.
Vinny, I thought the night before Christmas Eve she wouldn't cut me off. But the breaking news is
not the breaking news. Now comes the breaking news.
Dave Arenberg is telling us that Wendi Adelson is going to go down. That they are going to go after.
Wow!
I figured that's pretty big news.
What?
There you have it, guys.
Wow.
And he's big. Wow. Yep. So there it is. And so the thing is that this is a big deal because, again, this is over 10 years in the making. She's the last of the last. The whole thing was set up to try to separate her as much as possible, right, from having any involvement. So this is huge. And like I commented on last time, what's really interesting is that this comes in the wake of all the shenanigans with all the attorney-client bullshit with her brother Charlie, right? Because he was convicted, and then it came out that there were all these. Well, it was obvious there were all these problems, but somehow nothing was done about it. So Dan Rashbaum, Charlie's attorney, also representing Donna and Harvey, the parents, and all these, these conflict of interest going on, right? And so on appeal, Charlie's appellate attorney, pointed this out, and it was this whole big to-do. And so basically, it's not been said officially, but there's no way around it. Charlie's going to get a new trial. And this is just me speculating and wondering if partially what could be going on here is that everybody threw Charlie under the bus, starting from 3 hours in with this interrogation, Wendi throwing him under the bus. And we heard these jail calls where Charlie was talking about like, hey, hang on, this isn't fair. How come Wendy's not charged? Blah, blah, stuff like that, like on the jail calls, right? To his mom. And it makes one wonder if maybe he's seeing things a little bit differently after being given a sentence of LWOP, right? And that maybe now things might change a little bit. Now he's got a second chance, right? With a new trial. Who knows, right? But I would love to see Charlie throw Wendi under the bus. That's what I would love to see. But that's just personally my own opinion. When was this stream? Which stream? The Joel and Karm stream? Or so they announced this on Vinny's show first, because they literally were just leaving the event with Ruth Markel. Like literally just leaving when they came on Vinny's stream. And then the next day they did the STS Christmas Eve special, and they announced it there as well. But the thing is that Charlie getting a new trial is a big difference, right? So things that have happened since Charlie was convicted. Donna was arrested the day after he was convicted. Okay. So you have that. So now you've got at least one other family member who potentially could be like wheeling and dealing a little bit, maybe. But then you've got him being granted a new trial, complete or not yet, but it will happen. He will have a new trial. So, and you know, my thought is, would he throw his mom under the bus? I don't know, because they're like super tight. But Wendi, you know, ABC's Docket chiming in. I wondered if they would ever get to Wendi, right? I know. Yep. Right. So yeah, this announcement stream was on December 23rd, and then they also announced it on their own channel on December 24th. And then this stream that we had initially was December 25th. It was on Christmas night, actually. So yes, thank you for that, Kitsmits. Yeah, and Lori, you know, is a great source because he was a student of Dan Markel. And so actually, Joel and Lori, you know, have talked a lot about this. I believe there was actually a recent episode from Lawyer, you know, where he has like the podcast where he had Joel on, because both of them are really close to this case. Joel and STS, they've been following this from the very beginning. And again, they're just both really good sources. Both of those channels are really good sources for this. So yeah. Awesome. Happy that you guys are here though, because this was literally just me like, let's do like a timestamp and chill, but this is awesome. Like I said, there's lots to go through with this interrogation/interview. Okay. So let's jump back to where we were as Glenn. So for anyone who doesn't know, we had a troll, Glenn, the legend of Glenn. In fact, I'm actually working on a compilation video, The Best of Glenn. So whenever you see Glenn's comments, just know that this was a troll who we tolerated for about 3 hours until push came to shove, and that was it for Glenn. He could still be listening. He just can't be in the chat. Some of us think maybe Glenn is secretly Wendi. So there's that as well. So, okay.
And then we moved here for a year. The reason why I say his parents are going to say I did it is because after we got divorced, I wanted to move to South Florida, and I filed. That's
another one that I timestamped because, like, Wendi just says why Dan's parents will think she did it. Like, this is crazy. The number of like admissions or pseudo admissions are insane. And by the way, whenever you guys see wrong, that's a reference to Glenn. That was his favorite quote, was he would just say wrong and then nothing else. It's pretty good.
To relocate in the court, and the court said no. So because of the kids. I mean, yeah. So you can always leave. You just can't leave with your kids. So
yeah, I mean, we get a good idea, especially of her. I mean, we do get to know her. I mean, remember they've been building this case for all these years, right? And the other thing is they had a wiretap as well. So we do hear her on the phone.
So the way I do timestamps is sometimes I'll just sort of jump forward a little bit and just to be involved with it.
He definitely is a good read on her from someone who outside of her family, right?
We're in Tallahassee because of Danny's job. So
he taught at before he came up here.
He didn't. He had that year at FSU, and then said they wanted to hire him. So I worked there for a year. He worked there for half a year. We commuted back and forth to FSU, and then didn't hire him, and so we moved back to FSU.
I mean, one difference I will say is she's really, like, for example, all the things she's saying that seem like they're nice, like really mean, and the vitriol. So there's a lot more of that in the normal conversation.
We did try to give him the benefit of the doubt.
07 school year.
All right. I'm gonna go get the victim advocate. All right.
Okay, so here comes the victim advocate. I think I need to change my timestamp on that. Let me see.
We'll try to get everything expedited so you can be there when your kids get picked up from school.
Right, because the alternative would be like.
Okay, no, I think that's coming up. Let's see.
That comes up throughout the rest of the interview. It's very
victim advocate.
It's very unique. I'm not going to. I'll let you guys let me know what you think about how they deal with the kids and just compared to like other cases that we've seen, right, or that y'all have seen.
I'm gonna jump forward a little bit. Then here comes the Glenn is secretly
flash.
Y'all better all go subscribe to Uncivil Law, by the way.
I'm trying to wonder if Glenn is actually
I'm dying.
Secretly Wendi. Because people have done this before. There's been people that speculated that Wendy's been making made a YouTube account and she pops into chat.
My name is Sarah Latour.
What was Glenn? Hold on. What was Glenn's comment? Where was Jeff? Is a disgruntled? I mean, okay.
Wendy.
Okay.
Because people have done this before. There's been people that speculated that Wendy's been making made a YouTube account and she pops into chat.
My name is Sarah Latour.
Hi, Sarah.
Victim advocate.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna come sit over here on this side if you don't mind.
Awesome. You already subscribed. Awesome.
Yeah,
that's a good question for Uncivil. If Uncivil's still listening, Kit Smith's asked a good question. Maybe you could comment on this. We started suspecting that the victim's advocate was actually an investigator. Is that a thing police can and will do? Yeah, good question. Good question. Because especially as it goes along, it starts to be like, already subscriber, great, awesome. Glad to know you guys are already subscribed to Uncivil. And I know Uncivil had joined us initially for some Shannon Gardner coverage, and I'll just go ahead and say for anyone who's listening, tomorrow night we will be going over the death penalty motions in that case, part 1. I think the goal is to cover the first 8 death penalty motions. We will go through them in their entirety. And awesome that Uncivil's still here. Investigations lead where they lead. Suspects become victims. Victims become suspects. Things turn upside down. Yeah. So I think part of too why we started to think is because so she initially is kind of like coordinating the pickup of the kids and whatnot, but then after that's all kind of handled, she stays throughout the rest of the interrogation, and then she comes in and out with her notepad. Well, we'll see. We'll take a look and see. And I could, one could say that maybe she is law enforcement and they're calling her that, right? Not that they need to, because Wendy's already accusing herself left, right, up, down, and center, and calling herself a suspect, right? It's not, but in the instance that you're trying to make them think they're not a suspect, could be a reason.
Usually a lot more fun.
Okay. I've been trying to kind of find some next of kin information on his parents.
Do you want their names?
Yes, that would be helpful.
His dad is Phil Markel.
And I'm also
Mary
covering,
Canada.
by the way, anyone who's interested, I am also covering the Murdoch appeal as well. I'm going to be doing, well, I've already done the first 46 pages. We're going to be doing all 132 pages. So I think part 2 of that is on Monday, I believe. So yes, all
Toronto.
Toronto.
Most of the trouble.
Okay. His mom's name is Ruth Markel.
Mm-hmm. Are they married still?
We just got divorced.
Absolutely. 100%.
Stopped in like 30-something years later.
And when you say they're 70, are they in good health 70?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're young. They're like
70, but not 70.
my dad just turned 70 and he's
Again, since we're doing timestamps, I'm going to jump forward a little bit. So she's just asking about Dan's parents who live in Canada and their health because they haven't been told the news yet.
So Glenn, so maybe this is
This is funny.
so this is not Glenn's.
So Glenn is responding to me saying maybe Glenn is secretly Wendy, and this is Glenn's answer. No, I live in Oregon.
Glenn's saying that they're not Wendy because they live in Oregon. So that's true. We did hear that Wendy moved to Austin, Texas. So okay, I guess I was wrong. Sorry.
Oh, classic Glenn.
I'm sure you do this all the time. It's your job, but like I cannot believe this is happening.
It's not a normal situation to be in, and it's never easy or anything like that. So all your emotions and stuff you're feeling are okay right now. Okay?
They're so
That's
about
true.
my kids. I don't know how I'm gonna tell them what happened.
And they're
Okay, I'm gonna back it up a quick second. So this is something that she gets really concerned about. Is like she doesn't know how she's gonna tell them. Like literally can't, like, what words do I say? How am I gonna tell them? It's interesting, so.
it's not a normal situation to be in, and it's never easy or anything like that. So all your emotions and stuff you're feeling are okay right now. Okay?
They're so worried about my kids. I don't know how I'm gonna tell them what happened.
And
They're so little.
and it is difficult sometimes for the kids because they're such realities.
They love their dad. I'm sorry, you can ask me questions.
No, you're fine. Talk to me about what you want to talk to me about.
It's fine. I'll tell you what you
Yeah.
No, you're good though. Like, I want to be here for you too. Like, it's a great show.
I can't believe this is happening. I don't understand, and I'm very scared because if this can happen, like, what if someone's gonna come after the kids? Like, who did this, and why would they do this?
And from what they're missing, they haven't had any indications.
Right. I mean, why would someone come after the kids though?
Of that.
Do you think someone can watch the house where I'm gonna be with the kids tonight to make sure that nobody comes after us?
We'll discuss kind of that type of stuff. I'm gonna make sure that they know all your concerns and fears.
I just
take stuff one step at a time.
I know. I know.
It's
I know.
I don't know.
I know. It's yes, right? And she even references, I mean, what do they call this? What's the term for it? When you're trying to make yourself seem really great in an interrogation, like Sarah Boone did it a lot, right? Speaking of Sarah Boone. Anyway, so she mentions, I don't even know, I should have done a tally for this on the other live stream, probably 18 times that, I'm an attorney. I work with victims. I work with victims myself. The only time I've been here is to work with my clients as victims. Like, she bolsters herself. That's the word I was looking for. She bolsters the fact that she's an attorney, like, countless times throughout this interrogation, just to make sure they know, which, if anything, it's almost like, well, yeah, that's having the opposite effect, right? Because you should know to be quiet.
I don't know how I'm going to tell them.
Right. Yep. Lawyer. Yep.
I can tell you this. I think it's going to be best coming from you. You're your mother. You seem very educated and put together.
Yep. Lawyer. Yeah. You need to know.
I think she actually tries to pawn this off on someone else. I believe. Like, I think Kitsmith, you were saying something like that a few minutes ago, but I do believe she actually does try that, like, actually try to get someone else, because she's like, keeps saying, like, I don't know how to tell them. I think she just.
Yeah, I think Kitsmith, I think it's the first one. And it's so funny how people always do this, right? We see this time and time again in interrogations. It's so rare when people actually do maintain their rights, when it comes to speaking, that it's like the brain goes out the window, right? And it's like this whole weird thing of like, well, you want to appear cooperative, which that, not to go off on a whole thing about the stigma, right? But why is it that people think that, right? Because of this stigma that needs to change. And thankfully, brilliant law tubers like Uncivil Law and others have been, I think, at least when it comes to people who watch trials and who watch law tubers, thankfully, at least in that realm, there is, I think, a shift where people understand, okay, right, this is the people's rights, whether you're guilty or not, innocent, whatever the case may be, you only need one word, and that word is lawyer, and be quiet. But the whole thing about trying to appear cooperative, like, where did that come from, right? It came from the stigma that only guilty people ask for an attorney, and innocent people are cooperative. Like, that's where that came from. That if you have nothing to hide, you would be cooperative. And that's the problem right there. You guys see what I mean by that? Like, that's the root of the problem, because what the standard should instead be, cooperative is not speaking, right? Like, don't just, you say lawyer, you're polite. You don't need to be whatever belligerent, but just lawyer, done. And that is cooperative, but also it's not incriminating yourself. And, I hope to be alive when the stigma has shifted even more. We will see. You can also write it down. Great. Thank you. Good point. You can also write it down. Right. You could keep them guessing a little bit. Hey, may I please have a pen and some paper? And they go get it. And maybe they think it's going to be a confession, right? And they're like all excited. And then they pass it along. What are they going to say? Are they going to draw a map where the body is? Just as a joke, right? And then it's like, you take your time, and then pass it back over. It says lawyer. That would be that's what I would do. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. If I'm ever in that room, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it seem like it's something else, and then it's going to say lawyer.
Just kind of try to
let me go forward a little bit.
And I get why I would be a suspect, but the idea
right?
I know. Divorced, but
like Sarah Boone style, right? Sorry. Oh my God. Sorry. That's really funny.
The idea that I would ever do anything is like, I understand why they need to check, but I don't know who would though. I don't know who would do this. I can see why they would think it would be me.
Yeah, I don't think. And did Investigator Isom talk to you at all about like what your role is in this?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they do stuff just to kind of cancel you out too.
It's fine. I understand.
Okay.
I understand. I just can't believe this is happening. So I do best with being helpful. So why don't you tell me what I can do to help you?
Now there you go, right there. I just want to be helpful. So tell me, what can I do to help you? Face palm. Can you guys hear me face palming? I'm literally face palming. Can you guys hear me face palming? Also, there's another way to make that. There's another sound effect, as it were. Yeah.
Well, give me the parents' names. I know you probably, if you have any of their phone numbers, I know you don't right now, probably from memory either.
It's in my phone.
Right.
I don't remember them.
So we'll wait for.
They lived in Toronto, and I didn't have a really close relationship with them before the divorce.
Yeah.
And after the divorce, it's been.
I'll tell you what, I saw one just recently. I don't remember what it was, but I saw one just recently. It was an interrogation. I couldn't believe it. Where this was wild. The dude had been there for a while, and talking, and eventually he realized that they were kind of suspecting him, right? And the questions were getting more pointed. And he said, at this point, I'm going to ask for an attorney. And he was point blank, very clear about it. I want an attorney. And they weaseled their way out of it. They were like, we can't remember how they did it, but they were like, well, do you want an attorney as a pertain? Like, they weaseled their way out of it, and they changed the subject, and they got him to keep talking. But, and as the rules go, right? If somebody asks for an attorney and they just willingly keep talking, that's not on law enforcement. But in this case, the distinction is that they kept asking questions. They changed the topic, and they just kept asking questions until they went right back to where they were. And he kept talking. I couldn't fucking believe it. I could not believe it. I don't know if that's one of the same ones that you saw, Kurt, or if anyone else remembers which video that was, but I was livid, absolutely livid. And you better believe that whatever happened with that case, I don't know if it was already been to trial or what, but I can't imagine that interrogation makes it very far after that, because,
I've sent his sister like happy birthday messages, but it's not close. So I
right, you didn't have a reason to really have communication with them, and that's okay.
Okay, so other than their names.
Right, that's probably all you really.
No, I'm asking like, what can I do?
Let's see. You can, worry about you and your boys. Start thinking, who would be someone that you want here for you that's here in Tallahassee now?
What do you mean here for me? Like for what?
For support for you. Because you're gonna have to go.
I'd really like my family to come.
Okay.
They're not.
I think that's so funny. Yeah, bring all your family who are also, not even allegedly, well, Donna's waiting trial, but anyway, they're already at this juncture where we are now, again, 10 years later, either charged or convicted. It's a family affair. This I could probably timestamp here.
What do you mean here for me? Like for what?
For support for you. Because you're gonna have to go.
I'd really like my family to come.
Okay.
They're not here, but
where are they located?
I'm just so upset right now that I'm worried about parenting effectively. So if my parents were here, they could help me. They're really close with the kids, so they could help me. I feel like you and I look a little bit alike.
Oh my God, that's right. There's a bunch of insane things back to back here. Okay, hold on. Okay.
If my parents were here,
wow,
they could help me. They're really close with the kids, so they could help me. I feel like you and I look a little bit alike. Do you see this as you're looking at my face?
Yeah, very
what the actual fuck?
Blue eyes are much bluer than mine.
But I feel like, anyways, like looking at my sister, similar hair. I must look awesome right now, but when I'm not in crisis, I'd really like my parents to be here and help me with the kids.
And so for my information,
Kurt, I know Kurt isn't adverse to appearing pro hoc vice. I've heard you talk about it for the right case. So yes, Yeah, just saying. Look, if Tennis Girl ever needs a lawyer, right?
What are your parents' names?
I feel like I should be the one to tell them.
No, I don't want. I'm not gonna go tell them. I'm just more of as
Who's
you know, this
with
time
you?
goes on, right? When you're referring to people, I want to know. who you're
Sure. My parents' names are Donna and Harvey Adelson.
Donna and Harvey Adelson. Co-conspirators. Well, Harvey, maybe not, but Donna, yes.
And did you say they were in Florida?
They are. They're splitting. They're sort of in the process of retiring.
Okay.
I mean, semi. So they work together. They're super happy and in love. 40 plus years in. So they like live in Coral Springs for part of the week and then in Miami for part of the week.
Smith's giving Wendy the benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt.
Is Miami like their weekend home like for them?
My brother Charlie got this place for them to sort of.
But also, they don't look anything alike. I mean, from what we can tell, I mean, you know, we didn't even think of that. Like, do they actually look alike? I don't
Try
know.
living in Miami, so sometimes on the weekends they all hang out together. So they'll be there.
Yeah. I've heard pickleball is great. I've never played it, but
And like I said, I'm not going to notify your parents or do anything like that. I was just, like I said, getting that more just so.
For future, yeah.
And do you have anyone in Tallahassee that you consider your go-to person here?
I have a lot of. I don't.
Yeah, that's funny. So Glenn, I think you're I don't even know what to say.
for any of you guys who were here last time, this was Glenn's go-to comment that he made, I don't know, at least a dozen times. The same exact comment verbatim. This was really funny. And again, I am in the process of making a best of Glenn compilation video. I think I'll call it The Legend of Glenn. We were very kind to Glenn. I don't know that many other streams would have tolerated Glenn for 3 hours, but yeah, here we go. So I think this is the first time he's said this. Maybe.
Okay. So I just haven't responded, but I guess I will, so you don't have to keep typing it. But like, I haven't responded because that's not at all what's happening. I don't think there's anyone in this chat. I don't think there's anyone that I have ever interacted with that's either misconstruing or properly like awkwardness. Actually, now I feel like maybe I did respond to it, but I'll just do it again anyway. You know, awkwardness does not mean guilt. I don't think anybody thinks that. You know, and I will say that with every defendant, they're innocent until proven guilty. What you have here, though, in that gives this a unique set of circumstances with Wendi is that that you don't have with usually other cases, right? Normally you have a suspect and it's one person, they're innocent until proven guilty. You're gonna have to wait till trial to learn what the hell is going on. Here we have 5 previous arrests and all the fuck types of self-snitching with the jail calls and the letters and the emails and the texts. And there's been countless trials already. So, I mean, you could count them, but there's a lot, right? And there's going to be even more because Charlie's going to get a new trial. Don's going to have a trial. I mean, it's like, so in other words, for Wendi, I feel like not going in blind here, right? In terms of like.
It's so funny because I really did try with Glenn, but logic didn't really work and neither did critical thinking. And Tennis Girl is a beast on the tennis courts. So I would imagine she would do very well with the pickleball.
The evidence, because in other words, we've already seen, the difference is that we've already seen a lot of the evidence. Normally you wouldn't see it until the trial, but because of all the other trials and it's a conspiracy, we've seen a lot of the evidence, or I have anyway. So that's why I do feel comfortable saying that, well, for everything that I'm saying, right? Like, yeah, so, okay.
I have like a number of people that
You
I
have a
do.
good network.
I do. The person who feels most like family is my friend, Lynn.
Lynn? Okay.
She's just.
I think that there's like a national pickleball. I'm trying to think. I think there's like an association for it, for how they organize meetups and stuff. I feel like I've heard other people talk about that. That's how they organize those too. So that's something too you guys can look into, those of you guys who are interested in the pickleball.
A bit older than me and I'm very close to their family. She has 4 kids and I kind of like an aunt to the twin girls. I'd really love for Lynn to be around.
Okay.
So here she starts naming all the different people she wants around. Oh, the body language. Look, there's another comment to Glenn. And there is a funny Glenn comment here, I think, coming up.
I mean, in case anyone's not noticed it, I'll just point out, you know, I've not been commenting, and no one in the chat has been commenting on like her body language in terms of like the way that they talk about it in terms of, you know, the experts, right? Like for me, the thing that I picked up on the first time and every time is her statements. I mean, I'm sure that the first time I quote unquote watched this, and probably like, in other words, I don't even have to watch it. I can just listen to it. It's listen.
In other words, she incriminates herself badly enough just by listening. You know what I mean? There is the Glenn comment. Excellent.
I just, it's about 4:10.
Well, and they're super credible, right? Donna and Charlie.
Sarcasm.
Pick your kids up and take them home, that type of thing. So seriously.
Yeah, I agree, Kit Smith, for sure.
Figure that out just because I think he said that they had to be picked up
Yep.
about 5.
Yep. Accurate.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
So something to
Okay,
just think
okay,
about. What
thank
we
you.
want to get on.
What should we do about that?
What do you think would be?
Uncivil, I can't remember. Do you do timestamps on your videos? I feel like maybe you do. I guess I'm thinking so, because it's just funny because like Runkle doesn't do timestamps. But I feel like he's in the minority with that. But I'm a weirdo. I do very detailed timestamps. Like mostly because it really helps me. For example, if I ever need to go back and find something specific. But also I find that by doing it, I catch things that I missed before. You know.
So I could probably be functional to like drive
And I can
a
help.
car.
Well, I can help with kind of that type of stuff. Do you have a friend do you want?
I mean, I would, if Lynn is here, I don't know if she's.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I think it is true that the wiretaps, I think, is true. Like but like it's so funny because they self snitch, right? It's like you can hear. I mean, they do the same thing in the jail calls. They're like, oh, make sure we don't talk about Wendi when we're talking to each other, and like they say that type of shit, right? And you know, again, it's just also like it's for.
Again, this is me trying to respond to these Glenn comments as if there's any way to actually, you know, it's like if somebody's like, the sky's not blue and the sky's blue. And then it's like, I just, what do you even do? Right. You just try your best. Yeah, I don't know the answer to this. I think that there's a lot of, it's going to be probably wrapped up in the whole thing with the new trial. And they haven't officially come out and said that, but like, yeah. Unless I haven't actually seen that jurisdiction, that motion. So, I'll take a look. I'll take a look and see if I can find something there, but I'm glad that Kits loves the timestamps. Yeah. And just also guys, sometimes there's timestamps, but they don't appear on the scrolly bar, and sometimes they're there and they go away and then they come back. But at least for my videos, they always have timestamps, at very least in the description. If you don't see it on the scrolly bar, look in the description. But yeah, hopefully they're on the scrolly bar too.
It's like you need to learn how to criminal better if you're going to do it, because like it's just the same thing with the wiretaps, right? It's like they're going to every length to try to distance her from the murder, and like, why is that? First of all. Second of all, for anyone who's also kind of newer to this case, let's just remind everybody that Donna Adelson literally laundered money, as in cash. She laundered it because Katie McBanoa, the middle lady, like testified to receiving a bag of like mildewy or moldy cash, like literally because it had been laundered by Donna Adelson. So yeah.
I'm just looking it up for you there. I believe it was Tennis Girl's question. It looks like Judge Everett denied the motion. Looks like they were arguing that the case should be moved to South or Central Florida. And that motion was denied, but that was from October 24th, 2023. And I believe that was on the same day they had that last hearing where Judge Everett was like, hey, this is all fucked. Everybody needs new attorneys now because of Dan Rashbaum. So yeah, it says it was denied. Yeah, but I don't think anything else has come out since then.
Criminal masterminds.
Yes.
I don't know if she's in town this weekend. If she is, I would love for her to be with
Lynn would be
me.
your person. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
if Lynn's not, do you have a?
Yeah, it said it was denied though.
I do. I have.
By the way, most of you guys know that we have We have custom commands for those of you guys who are here on the regs. So I know I've already offered this to you, I believe, ABC's Docket, but for Heather, for Uncivil, I think y'all are the only people here that don't already have custom commands. So let me know if you would like one. Let's give an example here. So like Tennis Girl. So if you guys are interested, let me know what you would like, and I can make one for y'all. Also, all of the commands are available here. Thanks, Nightbot. We love Nightbot.
I have a lot of friends who have kids.
Yeah.
So they have their own.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, about the money was literally laundered. Donna literally laundered the money.
Yes, ma'am.
My friend Jane, who actually
got it.
used to be a victim advocate.
Okay.
Here we go with Jane. She talks about Jane for a lot. She really likes to talk about Jane.
Jane would be a really good choice. Jane McPherson.
This whole thing is so weird with Jane.
You probably, and I might be able to get these numbers, but you
Because she
think
doesn't have kids. It's all on my phone.
okay, and it's okay. And I know I don't have anything memorized either.
Other close friends that I would have be with me right now. I have this really close friend whose husband died last year, who has a kid, and we spend a lot of time together, so she'd understand, but I don't want to do that to her.
Okay. Well, and I think maybe between Lynn and Jane,
Hopefully one of them.
Okay.
Oh, Jane might be traveling. It's just summer, people are traveling all the time.
I understand.
Who else might be here?
What do you think, Lynn and Jane would be kind of a good start?
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go check and see how long on your phone.
Okay. If someone
so
wants to type !Heather in the chat, we should be able to see Heather's new command.
Dude, which is sort of out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Normally, I would just pick him up, but I think he's leaving town for the weekend. I just think he wanted extra time with the kids, so he was gonna.
I'm gonna go forward a little bit.
It would have been the go to the pool plan, but they knew that it was time to be with me, so.
I knew
I was just talking about normally the picking up of the children.
okay.
There it is. Cool.
Okay.
And we've got DSN here. This is awesome. Shout out to DSN. Hold on. We have a tradition here. When DSN joins, we have a sound effect as well. A la Murdoch. Where is it? You guys will recognize this for sure. Hold on. Excellent. Excellent. So happy you're here, my friend. Yay.
So let me go check on your phone,
Okay.
and then I'll come back and kind of let you know and see if maybe how long it would take, or see if I can find some phone numbers.
My two friends that I was with for lunch when they came and found me, how did they find where I was?
Yeah, let me know what you want,
I
EBC.
have no idea.
I mean, did they just search for my car? Like, I am just amazed. I was
Let me
meeting
know.
with two girlfriends. They're both psychiatrists.
Okay.
So they'd probably be good people to talk to.
Okay.
One of them is a child psychiatrist. So I just
So
feel
she
like
might be a good person to talk to, especially about.
how to talk to the boys.
Yeah, this whole bit. Okay, we're going to forward a little bit.
Has to give their child bad news, right? And in this case, it's like,
Well, I was just explaining. I thought it was weird how like Wendy's like, I don't know how to deliver bad news to the kids. And I was like, seems like a normal thing to do when you're a parent. But
you know your kids
anyway, okay.
know what that means. Squad.
DSN knows this interview backwards and forwards. Yes. Classic. There's I have the same skirt, and then there's the also we look like one as well.
Can you do rhymes with? As part of it. So I think you're talking about like the firing squad, which is Gardner tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, I believe.
So for anyone who's like, what's happening? So we're doing timestamps. So this is like a timestamp and chill bonus episode. So we did watch this entire interrogation on Christmas night, I guess. But we're doing the timestamps. So we're watching it, but we're also doing timestamps and sort of discovering some things we may have missed the first time around. Also Uncivil Law. Hopefully is still here, but was here. And we've got so many squirrel friends here, which is awesome. Love all of you guys. And yeah, ABC's Docket, just let me know what you want your command to be.
The firing squad won't come up there. But I will say this while Wendy's sitting there.
I won't say this because I'm skipping past it.
Yeah, the thing is, that's not why.
And there's Glenn. So DSN, since you just got here, Glenn was the troll we had the other night. Yeah.
Because it's her, she has two children and it's their children's dad. The victim advocate is helping her get her kids picked up from school. That's what they're doing, by the way.
So Glenn ends up saying, Glenn ends up trying to make a point that because they send a victim advocate in, of course, jury's still on whether or not this was actually a victim advocate, but because they send the victim advocate in, that means Wendy's innocent. So yeah. Now remember, because we ended up having to kick Glenn out, Glenn's comments are not appearing in the replay, but I pull most of them up, or you'll see people referencing them in the chat, which is why I have this here. You'll see people saying at Glenn, right? Or talking about different things that Glenn is saying. Like, for example, I disagree, Glenn. But again, I pull most of Glenn's comments up on the screen, so you'll be able to see them.
They're coordinating having someone come and pick up the kids from school.
You got it.
Yep. Yep.
You know, that's a good question, Candace. I don't remember if she identified herself as the victim's advocate, or I think it might have been Detective Isom who identified her as a victim's advocate. Actually, I think that's what it was. I think he said, let me go get the victim's advocate. Yeah, I don't know that I think she might have said, hey, I'm here to help you with your kids or whatever, but didn't necessarily say it. That's a good question, though. Blackwater's falling asleep and hanging in. Make sure you get your sleep. So, yeah, if anyone wants to go back to, I have there is already a timestamp for the victim's advocate when they come in. If anyone wants to go back and check and double check and let me know. So that way I don't have to, because again, I don't have these timestamps done yet, so I can't just jump back to where we were. But Maisha's sanity nuts. Okay, so I'm gonna make ABC's command as well, which I believe, where was it? I think was this one. Okay. Wendy's sitting there thinking to herself.
That's a lot. I don't know that it's clear that they actually know what happened. Like, even if you take away the family being involved, like, I don't think, and like, again, the other thing too, like they changed the kids' names. Like, basically it's like as if Wendi tried to just erase any existence of them ever existing ever since this happened. And like, that's where they're at now, because like, it's been a big challenge for like Dan's parents to even see them and like try to even keep the memory alive. Like, they're trying to like wash them out of it.
Okay, if someone wants to do exclamation point ABC. ABC's docket now has a command. Yay!
Jane work, because we're going to try to find some phone numbers for them, right? Some work numbers. If they work at.
So Jane is a PhD student. She's working from home.
Okay.
So Glenn had been saying stuff about how he needs to ask a psychologist something. And so then we were talking about if Fender knows this case, because Fender is our resident Squirrel Crew psychologist.
Department of Financial
Yay!
Services, maybe. It's not DVPR. It might be.
Right, that's true. Right.
There you go.
Her husband and I are close to, like, I'm friends with the family. Her husband's name is Alan Grossman, Allen. And he has his own law firm in town, so he should be really easy to find. It's like Grossman, but Furlow and Bio, maybe.
Do you know what street it's off of by chance? Probably down. Okay, that's good.
But you can find him and find that number, and he's usually at work. I'm trying to think. All of my really, really close friends live out of town.
Right. Well, again, going to the point of why she didn't want to live in Tallahassee, you know, it's funny because she just lists so many friends. It's like, again, going to like the bolstering thing. It's like, you don't need to list 50, even when they're like, yep, we've got enough names. We've got, you know, 1 or 2 names. Like, she like keeps trying to like come up with more friends. There's actually a point where Detective Isom makes a joke about how he's like, we know you have so many friends. I don't think we've gotten to that part yet.
Like, I think
crazy in this white room.
logical sense, because there's people that are victims of crimes that don't act distraught.
There's Glenn making the same comment again.
And there's people that act distraught that aren't victims of crimes. Like, you can't. This is kind of along the same lines of judging someone for being awkward. It's completely.
By the way, where I have it paused to answer his or respond to his comment, she's smiling.
Irrelevant. Someone seeming distraught or seeming awkward is not, at least that's not how I assess anything. And I don't think that's how even law enforcement, because when it comes to victims advocates, I agree that they're going to follow the protocol, right? And if even in your own words, if you come in and you could be a victim, or whether it's, again, like the kids are victims, right? Again, with Wendy's case, technically, now let's just say that they were still married, that would be different. I think she would still be considered a victim, right? Like a victim's family. But because of the fact that they're divorced, like, let me just look at this, like, think about this way. Because of the fact that they're divorced, they're not living together, they had a really contentious divorce, as they just talked about, right? I don't know that they consider her a victim because...
And it's funny because I was making this point before we started to suspect that maybe she wasn't a victim's advocate, because this is actually a good point, right? That, anyway, well, I'll keep playing it.
In other words, she's not like Dan's new girlfriend would be a victim, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And obviously his kids. But Wendy, she even said like her last text message to him was like contentious or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, had they stayed married and whatnot, it might be different. But regardless,
I'm actually going to timestamp this because I think this is a good question for, is she actually a victim? Like, would they consider her a victim? So let me back it up just a second, and then we'll go back to where we were, just so I can timestamp it.
You come in and you
hold on.
Same lines of judging someone.
I'm sorry. I know it's not like pictures. No.
So I will just say we don't even need.
I'll go back to where we were, and I'll go ahead and enter this timestamp in.
I will say, for anyone who hasn't met Fender is awesome. She's a member of the Squirrel Crew, lives in India, and she is a psychologist who's been published in
shout out to Fender.
What is it called? It's like the big Psychology Today or whatever, the psychology peer review magazine.
Yeah.
And she's the shit. But Glenn, I feel like you might not. I think you might regret having a conversation, with her, with any psychologist. I mean, I don't just have them on the ready, like in my pocket or anything, right? But
I don't keep psychologists in my pocket.
Hey, Larry. Another kind of question we have. Do you want, if we get in touch with
So that's funny. Tennis girl, you have the same question. I think Heather asked the same question the other night, right, Heather? And initially I couldn't remember. And then it came to me, I believe, I know someone in the chat will know this, that it came to me later on in the stream that I thought I recalled something about how that came up in Charlie's trial, that it was something like she had put her, she was doing like the pin thing where you pin where you go eat and you put your location on pin. Does anybody else remember that? DSN, you might remember that. Like that's how they knew where she was, because she had put a pin location there on like Facebook or some other social media. That's what came to me later on in the stream. But let me know if you guys remember something else, or if you remember that that's the case. Right. That's what I thought it was. Because I do remember that did come up. I believe it was in Charlie's trial. I know that did come up. And initially I couldn't remember the answer. And then I recalled thinking the answer was that it was a location pin that she had, because I remember thinking it was something that was like super simple, right? Like, not super crazy investigative techniques, because she had put a pin. But y'all let me know if you remember something else. Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the first things they do. You know what I mean? I don't know that she made that joke at lunch, but she made that joke a million times. She did make that joke a million times. I don't remember she made that joke at lunch, though.
Your friends, you think it's best if maybe they picked up the kids first, or
just because it's 4:15 now?
Let me go ahead a little bit.
And a friend will
I
come.
think they do keep it up until like 5
Okay.
So
they're just talking about the hours of the school.
Well, I may be wrong. I thought
that's right.
That's
right. She did tell the TV guy, the Best Buy guy, about the joke, and that was that same morning. That's right. She did say that.
It may still be at the other place.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay. I may be wrong. Was going to touch base with you about, because I know he's done a bunch of different stuff as far as doing your hands and all that stuff, to see if you'd be willing to let us look in your car.
Glenn Thomas, did you watch Sarah Boone trial? I mean, I could name any trial, but we'll just do Sarah Boone, but just because I'm just curious if you watched any of that, or if you watched any of her body cam from when they showed up. Well, maybe you think she didn't. Maybe you think she's innocent, although she's convicted. But yeah, I think we're all kind of confused.
Yes, and I wish you'd been here when Glenn was here. Dang it.
What they're trying to say. I guess I'm stuck on the hands over the face thing is what I'm getting at here.
I'm referencing a bunch of comments that we can't see right now because Glenn got kicked out, but he made a bunch of comments that just again, so hard to even respond to.
That hands over the face means not acting. Is that what if that's what the point was?
It's too bad I didn't pull these comments up on the screen. So
Get here?
I would tell them.
Okay, I just didn't know them.
you get an idea though by these comments here, right? Kit Smith says, Glenn, are you saying she's clearly not acting because she's educated? He made a bunch of things back to back that didn't make any sense. Glenn did.
Driving, are they good friends with him as well?
They've been mutual friends, but they're more my friends.
Okay.
I mean, I think everyone's gonna be devastated.
Sure. And maybe I'll just say that you're up here, you're fine, but they need to come pick you up, and then we can do that here, you know?
I mean,
can we just take a moment? DSN wins with this comment right here. I believe Glenn may have been a victim of double extortion as well. Bravo! Bravo! Yes. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. I hope Glenn is watching this. I'm dying. Oh my God.
I think you can tell them Wendi needs help picking up the boys because of what's happened. Like, I think you could tell them why I need them.
That's fine.
And that's fine.
She said she's fine.
I'm gonna go forward a little bit.
You didn't watch it? Well, I was going to say that
we got some more Glenn stuff happening here.
That was very gendered of me. Sorry.
Those what?
No, you're
okay.
She's a victim advocate because she's a woman.
No.
You're welcome. I'll fill out whatever paperwork you want.
I will.
Right here.
I will be honest. I did think about it. I wondered. So I don't know the answer to this question. I wondered if I unblock him, will his comments pop back up in the chat? Because for my compilation video, I almost thought it'd be worth it. But it's a good point, right? Like, we'll think about it. We'll think about it.
okay, so you didn't watch it? Well, I was going to say that in terms of, again, it's not really clear.
So he didn't watch Sarah Boone's trial, I guess. So he says, I did not, but she was guilty.
If the point you wanted to make is that hands over the face means not acting, just because two things you said consecutively were the hands over the face. She's clearly not acting. And then, I'm not even I don't even.
Great. So I'm glad I pulled these up.
I get that the educated is like a whole other thing. But like even just going with those two things, then, I was going to say like in the Sarah Boone body cam, she covers her face with her hands a ton. But you know what? I will just say.
Y'all are so funny.
I mean, that's why I was like, this is stupid, because literally every single person does this. Like.
So Glenn is trying to say that because she puts her hands over her face, she's not acting. Again, the fact that I tried to even respond, I'm trying, you guys are so funny.
They all do it. Like every trial, every defendant is, if they take the stand or if they're interrogated or if there's body cam.
The hands over the face is a classic maneuver. Classic move.
Let me just put it this way. There are a lot of people who would say that potentially covering up of one's face could indicate a sign of deception. And especially if one is trying to look like they're crying and is not actually crying, that's a way to try to look like you're crying if you're not actually crying. And honestly,
in fact, people say that all the time. So.
Again, there was a ton of that came out in terms of the comments during the Murdoch trial. And honestly, that was more convincing if that's what people are trying. If people are trying to cry, he did a better job. So did Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to explain it later.
I can read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'll explain that later. Sorry. I don't think he even ever does. That's fucking funny. Oh, God. Glenn, we're waiting with bated breath.
I'm trying to see if they can have the friend come here.
If I'm like really upset and crying, I don't know that I cover my face. Do you guys? Like, if you think about it.
Good question. We can think about this again now. When you guys are really upset and crying, do you guys cover your face? Curious.
That was lunch. I was trying to find.
They
the
do say
receipt
that.
from the bourbon, but I may have put it with the bourbon. This is from yesterday.
Thanks, friends. I was just getting the receipt for the bourbon.
But these are old ones.
When you got receipt.
I was looking for the bourbon, but I must have put it in the bag with the bourbon that I kept in the car.
Can I hold on to this one from Mosaic?
Right.
Do you need it to balance your booking?
No,
Okay.
sorry, that's fine.
What's this?
I just didn't want you to think I was crumbling up other
No,
receipts.
it wasn't for that. I just was thinking before.
Question,
No,
Heather.
I just thought I would find the bourbon one.
Yeah.
That's a great point. So Heather says, when it's your belief, are you lying even though what you say is untrue? Yeah. Like Sarah Boone's a great example, but there's so many, right? Like, yeah, great point.
I must have put it in the bag.
Just looking at the dates.
Sorry.
I feel a lot. I lost the key to my house, so I went to buy
Oh, this part's really funny.
a lot. I lost the key to my house, so I went to buy many spare keys to give to friends around town so I don't get locked out of my house again.
Okay.
So that's
All
what
right.
that is. It's my many spare keys that are now around Tallahassee, which now makes me nervous.
Okay. I know the receipt that I might be interested in is the gas receipt.
Yeah. Oh, I asked for no receipt,
Okay.
so I can give you my
That's okay.
charge card information, but
If I need it later on.
I didn't get a receipt.
That's all right.
Okay.
But you bought the bourbon over there sometime afternoon and then went to, okay. All right.
It should be, the bourbon's in the car, so
Okay.
it should be in there.
Okay. I'll get started on this and we'll hold on to this.
Are you bringing the car here?
Yes, I think it's already here.
How did they bring it here without
Tow truck.
keys?
Tow
Tow
truck.
truck.
Yeah, it's a good point. So the thing for me is I don't know how that happened. Like we all saw that a mile away, right? The thing with Dan Rashbaum. But I just kept thinking, well, the fact that no one's doing anything about it, it must be okay, right? Like but I don't really know. I mean, to me, it almost seems like wouldn't that have been Judge oh my God, I just blanked on his name. The Judge. Oh my God. I want to say Judge Belvin, but that's not the right judge. Judge what's his face is, someone will know. Like I don't know. Everett, thank you. Yes. I guess I would have thought maybe it would have been, I don't know. If Uncivil Law were here, he could probably answer that question. Like whose responsibility would that have been? I mean, this isn't a typical thing, right? So like normally the defense attorneys themselves would realize there's a conflict and make the right, call and bow out, but that didn't happen here. So then who else, but I see what you're saying for sure. I see what you're saying. I don't think anyone's going to come after you for that. I know, right? Well, maybe he will now. Maybe he will now. I totally agree with you on that though, for sure. Yeah, Judge Everett. Thank you. Yes. So is this in reference to Wendi? Oh, yes. Okay, it is. Right. Yes. Well, and you can tell these are all things that were just planned and then inserted, right? We see this a lot. Like, for example, with Alex Murdaugh, right? Like, they don't ask specific questions. You all know. But he's giving answers to things before they ask them because he's already prepared it ahead of time in his head, right? For example, the whole thing about the moms. We all know about that, right? It's just like, it's a very similar thing here where they've planned ahead. Now, here's the thing. When you don't know a murder is going to take place, guess what you don't have planned ahead is answers, right? Because you would be surprised. So, yep.
Okay. We're trying to be as efficient as possible. All right, so we're working on the
Yep, Joanna's trying to make contact now with some friends.
okay, and then they'll come here hopefully.
Hopefully, as long as she can.
Do you think I need to? I had the
Yeah, my mom has late stages of Alzheimer's. God, oh my God, oh my God. Yep. Oh my God, yeah.
a whole weekend of plans ahead with the kids and stuff. Like, should I?
Oh, I love this part. Let me back it up a second so I can timestamp it.
Here hopefully.
Hopefully, as long as she can.
Do you think I need to? I had like a whole weekend of plans ahead with the kids and stuff. Like, should I start contacting people and let them know that like I can't?
Just
What's a good idea? I just like I'm not gonna. I can't.
I'll rewind. I'm just gonna apply to the question. So, why was it she called to testify? Who are you referencing? Who's she? I don't know.
When I heard that, I was like, that's got to be a Glenn question. Let's see, I had it over here doing the timestamp, and I was like, that's a Glenn question. That's why I went back over. Sure enough.
She, because Wendi has testified at all of the other trials. In fact, it's a running joke in the community of people who follow this that Wendi wore the same dress for like the first 3 trials in a row, and she seemed to catch on to that though, because she finally wore a different dress for Charlie's trial. But what was so funny is with the other trials, even though they were like years and years and years apart, she wore the same dress. Anyway, so I'm not sure.
As we learn, he's saying, why didn't they call the victim's advocate to testify? Well, you'll hear.
Do you want me not to? How did she find out?
Well, she said she saw something in Everett or heard
She
something.
said she heard there was a shooting on Trescott. I thought because she's a real estate agent, maybe she was rolling around and she saw
rolling around.
But how did is it on the news?
Well, I can tell you that there was news media out there with cameras, but I don't know if anything has been reported as to the specific address.
Okay.
I don't know what our public information office has released.
I'm asking for you.
Okay.
Friend, you've already offered up your life, so don't worry about the money in addition.
She wants to know what she can tell.
Hold on.
Friend, you've already offered up your life, so don't worry about the money in addition.
She wants to know what she can tell people or what she can't right now.
Which, in terms of
anyone to die,
maybe things better or worse for you.
I would say that for right now, I would not deny to anybody that something did happen. But
if I'm going to call and cancel all my, I'm supposed to be at a party tonight.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I can't. Basically,
Oh, my God.
I can't go.
Oh, that's what you're saying. What? Okay, sorry. I can't even. I'm just going to try to process this question. So you're saying that they would have brought the victim advocate in to testify that she's faking.
I'm trying to process this. I'm just reflecting on this. I'm trying to process this because I'm like, I don't even understand how this is a question. It's stuff like this where it's like, again, in hindsight, could have been a red flag of this person's clearly never watched a trial before. Because this question makes no sense.
Okay. I don't know where to be. A victim advocate is not.
You can hear me. I was about to say, I don't know where to begin. And then I cut myself off. Oh, boy.
Qualified to testify if anybody is or isn't faking. In fact, it's really difficult. It's really difficult even when it comes to a forensic psychologist to have them testify to that. And the only way that would be done is not in this context at all. It would be by administering. The closest thing would be administering exams that can determine possibly the potential for malingering. But this has to be given in conjunction with a bunch of other exams. And again, Amber Heard is an example, but there's others. It's not something that anybody can just say that someone is or isn't faking. Am I making sense? So confused, and it's really funny.
Everyone else is confused.
So I can just tell
everyone else is confused.
Well, I'm just not going to be able to be there. I'll talk to you later, and that's it. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want you not to have a support network of friends.
Yeah.
You're confused. They're going to prove the victim advocate is not involved. Okay. Victim advocate's job was done at the end of this interview. Victim advocate goes on about her life. Now, Detective Isom is law enforcement. So his job, literally, if anything, would be to prove, again, not faking. Faking does not, just like with the awkwardness, these are not things that come up in trials. Like, these are not elements of a crime. Faking or not, awkwardness or not, distraught or not, that's not in trials. That's not elements of a crime.
Oh my God.
Like, now, having said that, Detective Isom's job description would require him to, detective stuff, right? Look into suspects, right? But if anything, if it would be like, you have to, you're seeing if there's evidence of guilt or evidence of involvement of a crime. But faking is not a part of the equation at all. Now, if by faking it, you mean she's lying, again, the way you prove that someone's lying isn't by being like they're faking. It's by looking at the evidence, right? And logic, using your left brain logic that, oh, they have to be lying because this doesn't make sense, right? This doesn't match the other evidence. This just doesn't add up. So in other words, the only reason lying would matter, which in some trials it does, in some trials it doesn't. The only reason it would matter is if the things that they're lying about are substantive to the case, right? Elements of a crime, evidence, things like that, right? If they're lying about who their best friend was in second grade, not relevant. Does that make sense? So the lying in and of itself doesn't matter. It's only what the purpose is, right? And the context. But faking is not, again, only the closest thing, and try to give the benefit of the doubt, that closest thing that would be in that realm would be malingering, which isn't faking, it's malingering. But again, that's really pretty rare to
I think that what's happening is we are trying too hard to, clearly, myself included, make sense of Glenn's questions and or comments. I guess they're mostly comments. But it's like, no matter how hard you work, you can like take your squirrel brain, if you're me, and like scroll at it. There's no way to make it make sense enough to even, but we are trying.
In trials, and it's extremely, there's so much you have to go through to try to prove if somebody is or isn't malingering. And it's really more of like a clinical diagnosis.
He's probably not even listening. He's probably, what he's probably doing? He's probably getting ready to type that same comment about misunderstood, awkward, and what was the other word? Distraught or whatever.
Anyway, all right, I'll keep.
Well, I will tell who needs to know, but like, I don't.
You want to explain this to 1,000 people.
Well, it's not about, it's yes, but I don't think that's good for the kids. Like, I don't want people, I don't know what to do about, the kids are really young. I don't know what to do in terms of.
It wouldn't even it wouldn't be allowed. There's no relevance.
That's right. Eccentric. Thank you.
There's not, no offense to the victim advocate, but the first test for evidence at a trial is it relevant? There's nothing relevant. She just provided a service in terms of helping get the kids.
Right.
There, no offense to her. Like, her job is relevant at the time, but testimony at a trial, no, not relevant.
Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit.
Maniac out there, and I would like for you to find whoever that is. So I don't want to make things worse in some way in terms of you being able to find someone.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
Just, I would just only tell the people that need to know that are closest to you for your benefit. And anyone else, if they inquire, you can tell them any excuse you want. You can say, the police have asked me not to discuss it.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Well, right. And it has changed. I mean, it took them almost, or what did I say before? Over 2 years to make their first arrest, right? I mean, I don't want to be a broken record, but I just want to reiterate that if law enforcement thinks that there's a more than one person.
So I'm just gonna, because the Janine Driver part is funny. He kept saying in the chat over and over in just 2 words, Janine Driver, nothing else, just Janine Driver. Like
the opposite, like the fact,
what on earth,
right? In this whole thing.
Okay, I'm used to that.
Okay. That's it. I swear I'm just blowing my nose.
You're all right.
Yeah, there's no rule that says they have to charge somebody, like, there's no statute of limitations on murder, okay, first of all. So it's not like,
I'm moving forward a little bit.
time to build a case and do it correctly. It's been really thorough, and the chain of custody.
Want to get to the part about Jeanine Driver because I saw that comment pop
Very
up.
hard.
It is.
You have a very nice personality for it. Very calming.
Thank you for saying that. That's kind of how I sell myself sometimes on doing this.
It's really hard. Do you know Gwen?
Gwen Williams?
Yeah.
Oh, this part's funny. Hold on.
Sarah, your job is very hard.
Aha.
It is.
You have a very nice personality for it. Very calming.
Thank you for saying that. That's kind of.
This is not the first time she has done this.
Doing this.
It's really hard. Do you know Gwen?
Gwen Williams?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think you did a presentation at a Red Cross human trafficking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would want to get everyone involved.
That's always sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that was me.
I thought so.
Yeah, I agree, Candace.
When they were kind of telling me.
I agree.
You know, who I was gonna
I
be
agree on that.
talking with. I was like, that sounds familiar.
And I had the boys there that morning. And
Well, the
that's
thing
why I,
is, she already complimented them earlier because I think I've already timestamped one of the times she compliments them and says the same thing, like your job is very hard. So this would be the second time.
talked to
And I
them
remember
about-
you talking about your boys actually too.
I don't know who Jeanine Driver is, but honestly, I don't.
Oh, there's the Jeanine
Well,
Driver.
it's good to see you again.
Sorry, under these circumstances.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a nightmare.
This isn't something that anyone plans on going through or wants to go through.
We were
So
divorced. It wasn't good, but like,
Oh, this part's good.
this is never something you would ever want to happen.
Like, I think that's interesting, right? Like, because if you feel the need to say,
Yeah.
if you feel the need to say, yeah, like I know we weren't having a good divorce, it was a very contentious divorce. You know, we were being blah, blah. Like, if you feel the need to say, but I wouldn't kill them.
I just, I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect.
Okay. All right, we're timestamp that one too.
I just, I understand why I'm a suspect. I guess I'm not a suspect.
Again with that one.
That I would do this, but not you, but
right.
And the thing is so again, they've told her so many times she's not a suspect. It's like she's having a hard time believing them.
Yeah.
Which is interesting as well.
I'm just worried about the kids.
By the way, guys, I just want to let y'all know in case you're like, why can't I type like to me? So my keyboard, my laptop keyboard has like, it started with like one key that would get really, really sticky to where it's like, I'd have to like jam it. But now it's like half the keys. So I promise you guys I can type. It's just my keyboard is very difficult and the keys get jammed and they don't work. And anyway.
And I'm so sorry for his family and for his children.
Good point.
I have already answered.
Now I'm gonna grow up without a father.
Oh yeah, that question. Yeah, where'd it go?
I have already answered.
Now I'm gonna grow up without a father.
So he asked this a couple times, of course, spelling my name. Do I have a personal vendetta against Wendi? And so I said, I've already answered this. Oh, God.
I have no idea who would do this, and I feel like they're out there. And if they're capable of this, like, what's to keep them from going after the kids? Like, if they hate Danny, then why wouldn't they hate his children?
And
right.
And you know, they're doing
And the thing is too, just to that point, that's exactly by design, right? That's the whole reason why you hire people, right? That's
okay. I'm gonna skip forward past this.
Yeah.
There's no way he did it.
Yes.
Oh my God, I can't believe you said that again.
He never really got to.
There it is again.
Wait a second. Now I'm wondering if you're not even a real human. I can't believe because we've actually, are you a real human?
Positive guy. It wasn't him.
And you know, just because you guys are divorced, you probably know him very well, probably better than anyone else does. So,
except for the last 2 years. Like, I don't know specifics of like.
Well, right, his personal life, but you still know his personality.
I do.
And, you know, personalities usually don't change.
There's a
very
lot of
often,
times.
So
yeah, I I'm gonna have a hard time not being sad in front of the boys. I need to tell them today, don't I?
That's a good one. Hold on, let me back it up a little bit. So we go from, we've been having a contentious divorce, but I wouldn't kill him, to I'm going to be so sad in front of the boys.
It wasn't him.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Tennis girl?
Just because you guys are divorced, you probably know him very well, probably better than anyone else does.
Except for the last 2 years. Like, I don't know specifics of like.
No, I think that what she's hoping to do here with this whole thing about the kids' safety, and at one point she's like, can I have security at the house? I think she's hoping to, remember, she's already hinted at her brother. She's already hinted at one of my friends maybe would have tried to scare him or whatever. But I think that the goal is this is probably more along the lines of what they had prepared as in her family when they made this plan. This is probably more along the lines of what they had asked her to say, right? Which is try to make it seem as much as possible like it's someone who's out to get the family, or like, in other words, to make it more about it's someone who wants to get the whole family, like as in her and the boys too. It would A, distract from the real problem, and B, make her again also seem to be a victim, right? As in she needs protection, the boys need protection. It's all about them, or her rather, right? A good comparison. It's like the Vanishing Perpetrator. It's a good comparison is to Murdoch, right? With the boat crash, right? When right off the get-go, he's like, I know this has to do with the boat crash. And then whenever they asked him who or for more information, it was like they couldn't give any details, right? It wasn't online, but it wasn't in person. He can't say who. Like literally, then he even says that there was no one else there. It's like trying to offer up another suspect, but not really, because if they go looking for it, they won't find it. So at DSN, yes, Wendi should have blamed it on the 5'2" vigilantes. Yes, they trained their whole lives for this. They surely did. But I think it's a similar thing, right? We see this in other cases as well, but that's just a really good example that comes to mind of like trying to make it a bigger thing or about something else to distract from what the actual thing is. Tiny Nin. Yep. Yeah, where is the next crime con? I haven't heard a peep about it actually. Yeah, so hopefully that's kind of my interpretation, right? Again, playing up yourself as a victim, but also saying, hey, there's other people that could be in danger and they could be anywhere and all that. Denver, okay. You know who might go is Maisha, because she lives in Colorado. Shout out to Maisha.
His personal life, but you still know his personality.
I do.
Personalities usually don't change very often. So
yeah.
Candace, yes.
Have a hard time not being sad in front of the boys. I need to tell them today, don't I?
I think you do.
Have you done this before? Doesn't matter if you've done this before.
Have I told children? I have not as young as your boys.
Now this is an interesting question, because remember at the time when we were watching this, we hadn't quite yet considered that maybe she wasn't a real victim's advocate. But let's listen to this question and answer again.
For the boys, I need to tell them today, don't I?
I think you do.
Have you done this before? Doesn't matter if you've done this before.
Have I told children? I have not as young as your boys.
What do I tell them?
Oh my God, Wendi!
You know kind of what you've talked to your boys, and I know they're so young, sometimes.
So I was thinking the question was, she was like, have you done this before? And then she's like, not as young as your boys. I don't know.
Conversations about life and death and things like that. And some
right, like I said, it's normal.
First conversation about God. Yesterday. Ever. And then he's living into his car seat and out of nowhere says, Mommy, I bet Amma knows a lot more about God than you do. And I said, well.
Okay, I'm gonna skip past this conversation where she talks about her kids talking about God.
But is having a sophisticated conversation about God.
This disproves her whole point, because she's making them out to be more mature than they should be for their age, but whatever.
He would say to my mom, who's still very heartbroken over the loss of her mother, he would say to her mom, like, is your mommy dead?
Mm-hmm. Right. Again, clearly proving that they can comprehend death, but whatever.
Listen. So now she's like, wait a second, he's not going to die. He might live. Hold on.
alive.
No, I didn't know that.
He's
I didn't go back.
How else are we gonna make
Hold on, let me go back further.
concept of things like God,
I know
and
heaven.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't know.
And let me just kind of back. I'm not sure what investigator Isom kind of told you. You know that he's still alive.
No, I didn't know that.
He's.
Is he possibly gonna make it?
I don't know the answer to that. I know
He made it sound like he was gone. So does that mean that he might be okay? You
I
know.
don't think, from what it sounds like, I don't think he'll be
The same. Okay, but
If-
he might make it.
Because
I
you
don't
don't want him to be able to identify who shot him.
They give you that false.
This part gets real weird about the whole thing about him looking scary and stuff.
Sorry, I just
No,
thought
it's
he was
okay.
gone, and now I don't know what to tell. It's sort of a game changer.
I know, and
Like,
that's why I was kind of asking you.
I didn't know that. He
I
made
mean,
it
I
sound
don't.
like he made it sound like he was gone.
I don't think it's good though.
I know I mean, that's sort of what he said, but I assumed he was saying that like euphemistically.
Ugh. It's like she's got to figure out, is he gone or is he not gone, right? Ugh.
That's why I'm kind of at, because I don't want to be misleading
Is
in
there
this
any way to
conversation.
find out if like, because if
there
he
any way to
might
find
be
out?
okay, like I want to bring the kids to him so that they can.
And that's
Now she's giving a reason why they need to double check.
about in a little, but let me ask him.
I just think that's different, right? Like if
No,
he's not
it
gonna
is.
make it, and
Now this is another part. So she just said, okay, let me back this up. So she
So I'm going to fast forward that because we already heard this.
so is there like, are we getting updates from the hospital?
They have
she's trying to figure out how close he is to death or if he's dead or whatever, because she's going to mention something here in a second again. Well, wait, what if he's going to be disfigured? Then I don't want to put them. So you'll see.
at the hospital. Obviously, when something like this happens, they do go to the hospital.
Right?
How did this? So when it happened, did someone call the police because they heard a gunshot or something?
Here we go with the neighbor witness. Okay, here we go.
So when it happened, did someone call the police because they heard a gunshot or something?
Who was a witness?
How
Who was a
how
witness?
did they know like, did he call the police?
Trying
How
to
would
figure out who's a
they take him
witness.
to the hospital?
I don't know the answers to all these, and I'm not. I'm gonna when I
Because
investigate.
now it's like if he survives, now we have like he could be identifying whoever.
Super plan, my girl. Hello, hello. Yes, we are doing a timestamp and chill episode. So literally, you guys we're just going back through. Plus, it's worth watching more than once, as y'all see. We are having fun with making fun of Glenn, or well, is making fun of the right word? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think the right word is. Glenn stuff. Yeah.
Shot him. Was there any other witnesses around?
When it comes back in here, I'll let you kind of ask some of those questions.
Okay.
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 But I didn't want you to think. I'm sorry. I just didn't want you to think that he was.
By the way, Heather and ABC's Docket also have their own custom commands as well as of tonight.
I thought he was gone.
And that's what I was getting from your conversation, and I didn't want it to be.
If he's still alive, I need to make different choices.
Right.
I want the boys to be with him. Well, I don't know. I mean, if he looks
There
scary,
it is.
then
Right.
And there it is. Now she's changing her mind. So, God.
He was.
I thought he was gone.
And that's what I was getting from your conversation, and I didn't want it to be.
If he's still alive, I need to make different choices.
Right.
I want the boys to be with him. Well, I don't know. I mean, if he looks scary, then
Right. And that's what.
Scary, though, also a choice word, right? Well, if he looks scary, that's really sad, actually.
is that why? Does he look scary? Is that why?
Well,
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
Because I think that would be more traumatizing for the kids to see like something horrible. I don't want them to.
oh my
And I
God.
will say,
Oh my
from
God.
a victim advocate perspective,
Yeah.
I always recommend people not to.
There, she did actually reference herself as being a victim's advocate. But I think that might be the first time she's kind of done that. I mean, Wendy's kind of brought it up because of being like, this is something we have in common. But
Especially young children.
They're so little. I mean, they
Right.
could like. I want them to have. If it's gonna have to be memories, I want them to be good. Because their last memory would have been him taking them to school this morning. This morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go forward a little bit.
Let me go talk and let me ask them that for you.
This might be around the time when we started thinking, is she really a victim's advocate?
Wendy, look at me. There's no reason for them to think that anything's going to happen to the boys right now, okay?
Okay.
And I just want you to know that there's no indications that.
But why would someone do this? Like, why would they just?
Is there a
come
trial
after my
date for
whole
that yet,
family?
tennis girl?
I do hear your concern. I do. I just want you to know, though, like, there's no, if there was an indication.
I mean, there's no indication some crazy person was gonna kill Danny, so why would they not think someone was gonna, like, anything could happen, right?
Now she's back to the whole thing about like the boys and her could be or in jeopardy.
From what I understood, that they're
I just have no idea what's happening right now.
I'm sorry. Let me go see and try to talk to Investigator Isom and see if he can give you a little bit more clarity.
Okay, thank you.
That's kind of a funny response from her. She said the way she said, "I'm sorry." Now she's leaving the room.
I can hear him.
Yeah, tennis girl. Do you know, do they already have a trial date for that? I feel like it might be a bit early for a trial date. I feel like that just kind of happened, right? Oh, was that a Glenn comment? No, maybe not.
Good.
Oh.
Now he's writing a book about.
Hold on. Yes, it was one of the best ones. We have to timestamp this one. Oh my God.
Glenn's letting us know he's writing a book about Wendi. Oh, that's good.
New bestseller, guys. What did I say it was?
Yeah, we like animal hybrids.
Remember, guys, like I said, my keyboard the keys get stuck. So just, timestamp for that one.
And of course, it's, she's a state worker at 4:30 on a Friday, so she is on her way. Okay. And I'll keep trying. Alan, they were sending him a whatever message to his phone, so he will probably call me.
Did you tell Jake what happened?
Why did I think they had found the body? That was probably some other case because there's so many. I thought they had found the body. I guess maybe it was just that they made an arrest. Right, that's what it was. But they still, okay. Thanks for reminding me.
No, I told her I didn't want to tell her over the phone. I said, I'm sorry, I'm being cryptic. Something's happened with her ex-husband and she needs you here and we need help picking up the kids and you're free to go with her when she gets here. We'll work on car seats. They may be done doing what they need to do with your van when she gets here.
Speaking of things, okay, let me just go ahead and let y'all know this little thing. So I'm covering a number of cases right now. So my plan, I like having this thing of like one vintage trial, ongoing, like when I finish one, I'll move on to the next. So like by vintage trial, I guess that kind of varies, right? Because like Ezra would count, but like that was not that long ago, right? But then we had Casey Anthony. So my plan after Casey Anthony, now that we're into the defense case in chief, my plan after Casey Anthony, I haven't, I guess, officially announced this, so I'm announcing it now, is to cover the Michael Peterson trial. And for those of you guys who are familiar with the Netflix documentary called The Staircase, that's that trial. Now, a couple things. This is a North Carolina trial. And so that right there is awesome, right, for me. But nobody, again, just like with these other trials, again, similar, like just like with Ezra and just like with Casey Anthony, no one has covered this trial with commentary. No one. There's been that documentary made, which, we all know how trustworthy those are, right? But no one's covered this trial. But it is a very famous trial. I mean, again, still blows my mind about Casey Anthony because even more famous, right? But no one's covered it. And I have to give a big thanks to Flash Fan for reminding me of something really crucial about it, because the defense theory of the case He brought this up when we were talking about Murdoch and the 5'2" ninjas. Okay. Let me see if I can find this picture. Because where is it? I think I have it saved. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this picture to show you guys, because we were talking about the 5'2" ninjas, these child assassins, right? And all that. And I'm just looking for this picture. Hold on. Here it is. Okay, let me show this to you guys. Oh my God. Okay. It makes it easy when I have the whole window shared. All right. So he reminded me, shout out Flash fan, he reminded me that the defense's theory, or I guess at some point it comes up, right? Theory of the case was that an owl did it. An owl did it. So I found this picture because if ever there was a theory that could maybe rival the Gray Boys, it would be this. It would be this. It would be this. It would be this, right? And that was the icing on the cake. Like, I was already planning on covering it, but when he let me know about this, in fact, there's even apparently some sort of special bird scientist who wrote an entire book about it called Death by Talons. Not even joking. How is this even real life right now? Death by Talons. Yeah. So there's also a lot of other overlaps with Murdoch. Like, for example, I believe one of Murdoch's experts, the guy who talked about the children hiding in the ceiling, that dude, I keep forgetting his name, not Mike Sutton, but the other dude, I believe that dude also testifies in this trial for the defense. Another thing that's interesting, well, I don't want to spoil this trial had an interesting outcome as well. That's not something we typically see. So anyway, it's and his defense attorney is very, 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 very dramatic. It's going to be great, y'all. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'm very, very, very excited. I agree. Flash is great. Couldn't agree more. Flash is amazing. So that's going to be next after Casey Anthony. And I'm really excited. And one thing that's going to be great is getting to see some like North Carolina specific rules, North Carolina specific case law, things that are, every jurisdiction has its own quirks. But this is a case that does have a lot of people wondering, did he really do it? Did he not? There was also, a contentious issue. For example, his homosexuality or bisexuality, something along those lines was allowed to come in, and that could have been an issue. There's a lot to it. But I have to say, above and beyond this right here has me already can't wait. So we have that to look forward to. So, right, I know. Oh, it looks like, wait, what's happening? So I know 2025 is going to be insane, especially because, at least for me, two of the cases that I'm covering, like really full on, pre-trial, right? Pre-trial and then trial that are going to overlap are going to be Shannon Gardner and BK. Although BK is probably going to overlap with a number of things because, 3 months. But yeah. So road trip crew. Shout out to the road trip crew as well. Plus we got this one. So yeah, so that's one thing that we'll be doing. If you're referencing Michael Peterson, the lady you're talking about, the first staircase lady, that was not his wife, I don't believe. Flash would know if he was here. See, I haven't delved into a lot. Like, I watched that documentary a long ass time ago. I don't remember anything from it, but I'm not delving into a lot of the specifics until we get to it. But I don't think that was his first wife. I think that was a family friend. And I believe it was ruled an accident, I believe. Oh, we have a command for the poot. Poot surprise. So, a neighbor. Okay. Yeah. I believe the command for road trip is trip, actually. Let me see. Let's see if that pulls it up. There we go. Road trip, gang's all here. So yeah. So right now I've got the Murdoch appeal. I've got Shannon Gardner. I've got BK. I've got Casey Anthony. I'm probably forgetting something. But anyway, but yeah, BK will be ongoing. Shannon Gardner will be ongoing. And then after Casey, it'll be Michael Peterson. And there could be something else too that I end up adding on. It just kind of depends, right? You know, because of some of the, Karen Reed, right? Of course, duh. Also Karen Reed too, right? But you know, some of these cases have lulls at different times and whatnot. The next thing for Karen Reed isn't until January 7th, I think. They set a date to finish the Daubert hearing. I think it was January 7th. So I'll cover that whenever that happens. The shrimp weasel. Yes. We've got that. We also have Ezra, the shark weasel. Who took someone's kids? Yeah, Karen Reed. Yeah. So, yeah, but you know, whenever there's trials that have really interesting pre-litigation going on, then that's worth covering. Like, for example, that the Brad, I don't want to get the name wrong, Brad Simpson. Oh my God. Sorry for butchering the name, guys. You guys know who I'm talking about. That one, like, you know, it just sort of depends, right? I know, I wish the state would pass too. It'll be interesting though to see what they do. It'll be interesting to see what they do when they have, now that they brought in the big guns, so to speak, right? Like, what are they going to do with that? Right. But the thing is this though, right? Put it this way. Let's just say hypothetically that, that they brought in the big guns. They brought in the special prosecutor. They got rid of, well, at least the Commonwealth, right? Gets rid of a lot of the McAlberts. They get rid of Trooper Paul, right? They bring in actual people. Let's just say they do that and they put on, you know, as solid a case as possible, right? And let's say that after all that, she gets acquitted on all her charges. Won't that feel even more satisfying? I'm just trying to be optimistic here because, I mean, that could happen. That could happen. It could be that, like, they're retesting the telemetry and all that, and we don't know if they'll be able to get anything from her, but they'll say they do. It could be exculpatory, right? More information for them isn't necessarily better. They're hoping it is. Yeah. Oh, so I was right. Brad Simpson. I feel like I butchered the name, but I tried to say Brad Simpson. Okay. Yeah, the new special prosecutor, Brennan. Yeah. Yeah, he was pulling out all the stops though with Dr. Russell, that's for sure. Okay, let's get back to some Wendi.
So y'all can
By the way, I'm gonna do a song as I do the song everyone knows it's Wendi. I'm gonna do that song, but I'm gonna Wendy-ize it for this Wendi, by the way. That's
your car, or we can get the car seats, however we need to do it. Okay. Do you want anything to drink? Or I know that's probably the last thing on your mind, but
yeah, she just had a big feast of a lunch too, apparently.
Anything to drink or snack, or I know you were at lunch, but
just water.
Water? Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
she's on her way.
Okay, where's she going?
She's coming here.
Okay.
And then I told her we would figure it out from there. She doesn't have car seats, so we need to work that out.
Couch, because he's doing the van.
Okay.
And they can move the car seats over to the other.
Now they're talking about the car seats.
But the other way.
Is he still alive?
Clinically,
Oh boy.
he's not going to live.
What does that mean?
He has a severe, yes, is a severe brain injury.
So much better than that.
It's apparently there's.
So that, I think somebody referenced that. It might have been Heather. Somebody referenced that the other night. So I don't think that law enforcement had said he was shot in the head. This is actually really important, okay? Now earlier when Isom first mentions that he was shot, he says he was shot in the driveway. So here she says shot in the head. Let's listen to this again.
Boy.
He's not going to live.
What does that mean?
He has a severe, yes, is a severe brain injury.
Yeah.
So much trauma in the head.
It's.
I mean, I guess that's a fair assumption that one could make.
Apparently, he's
Hold on.
clinically.
Oh boy.
He's not going to live.
What does that mean?
He has a severe, yes, is a severe brain injury.
Yeah.
So much trauma in the head.
It's apparently there's too much damage to recover from it. Okay.
And see, that's a good example of why I timestamp these things, right? So that whenever we want to go back and think about this, we can find it, because otherwise it would be like damn near impossible. You know?
Why we need to get a hold of.
Definitely.
Face.
I don't know what his I don't know if he has an advance directive or what he would have wanted. He once told me that he would want all. We joked. I said I would want to be like.
Wow.
If I have an advance directive.
Wow.
I do this kind of work. I run a medical legal
Oh my
partnership. Like,
wow.
if I once said if I ever was like brain dead, I would.
So the reason I'm saying wow is because she's launching into this whole advanced directive thing, which is it's interesting.
To be like, I'd want the.
Okay, hang on.
And he said he would
need to watch this again. This is incredible.
It's not going to.
Well, so also she goes, okay, watch the crying. Okay.
What does that mean?
He has a severe, yes, is a severe brain injury.
So much trauma in the head.
It's apparently there's too much damage to recover from it. Okay, that's why we need to get a hold of
his family. Right. I don't know what his I don't know if he has an advance directive or. What he would have wanted. He once told me that he would want all. We joked. I said I would want to be like, if I was ever. I have an advance directive. I do this kind of work. I run a medical legal partnership. Like,
okay, she mentions joked. What I would want and what I do. I run a blah 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 blah.
Like, if I once said if I ever was like brain dead, I would want to be like. I'd want the.
Like what?
Pulled, and he said he would want all efforts made, like he would be cryogenically frozen, like he wanted every single effort that could be made to keep him alive. I know that much.
My understanding.
Yeah, that doesn't matter here because it has to be anyway.
And that's what we'll have to get a hold of the family as soon as possible. But my understanding is there's irreparable damage. There's nothing that can be done. I mean, I'm not there. I wasn't there, but I understand from previous cases that the brain, his brain is damaged beyond repair. There's nothing that can be done for that.
And the other thing is she's not his next of kin, right? Eventually they're going to say that they have to talk to his parents because it's not her decision. It's interesting that it's like, even in death, it's almost like she's still trying to have the last word and make the final decision for him in a way, right? Because she knows somewhere in the back of her mind when she went to law school, like it's not her decision. This reminds me so much of what Donna would do, right? Trying to have control over someone else's death experience. I mean, it's not your deal. That's what this is, and that's probably why else would she be bringing up this conversation, right? Because again, she can't produce the paperwork because it doesn't apply anymore. They're divorced. So in lieu of that, right? In lieu of being like his next of kin or his guardian, what do you call it when you're the medical guardian person? Like, I forget the actual term, but like, instead it's like this story, which first of all is about her when she starts out with it. It's interesting. It's like she's hoping to convince them to go with what she says instead of going from what the parents say because they're the actual next of kin.
He's still alive. Should I bring the kids to see him?
No. He has severe facial injury. I'm sorry, and I know this is tough, but I would not want
probably
my children
would be trouble if I did that.
Okay. I just thought I got this inkling that maybe he was like still somewhat conscious, and I wanted him to get to be with them. If that, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That would be
I'm
a
sorry
problem,
about
I
that,
think.
but That's
Okay.
the way it is. They, like I said,
Okay.
there's severe injury, trauma.
Okay.
All right,
Is there someone is there a doctor working on him, or are they just?
there's doctors at the trauma bay, the ER. I think he's been transferred to ICU.
Okay.
All right, and they'll have to make a
Yeah, the thing with
determination
music on here, you guys I'm sure have heard it on other channels where it's even if somebody's doing a live stream and they're out on the streets and the car drives by and is playing a song on the radio, they're like, oh my God, we got to mute it, take it down. Because the thing is with music, especially, they will copyright strike you. I can give you an example of that. Like in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, there's that song that plays for just a split second when they're going to Coachella. And I knew that there was a problem with it because EDB had a copyright strike from it. So I tried to cut that out, but it left a split second of it. It was enough that I got a copyright strike from it. Not the kind that's a big deal, but the kind where it's I don't know, enough of them is a big deal or something like that. But you don't want that. You don't want to end up with that issue. You know what I mean? But because it's like that with music on YouTube. So
organs.
Oh my God.
So forth.
Oh,
right. I know. Same.
So hence, hopefully we can.
Okay.
And Tennis Girl, if you want to share it in the Discord, and that way that would be easy for people to listen to. We can listen to it. But I just can't put it on the stream. Yeah, right.
Yeah, the kids.
All right, now let's talk about the kids. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I don't know who the contact person was. Was it one of the ladies that you were eating with?
No.
Miss McPherson.
I thought I wasn't supposed to contact them, so I didn't ask about those two because I thought it seemed. Anyway, I asked two other women I'm friends with.
Okay, that are familiar with the children.
Jane is who they got.
Does the daycare place have to be contacted to allow her to?
Oh, I kind of thought I would go with her.
Okay, here's the thing. All right, as soon as this phone comes back,
Yeah,
I have to ask.
Before a little bit.
probably a little through me,
But
but
not friends.
yeah. I mean, Jane's a therapist. She'd be very comforting. She has two kids of her own. She'd be fine. But I'm trying not to freak the kids out.
You understand exactly how we have to do things, and I haven't had to explain a lot of stuff, but really, I feel the need to. I really want you here.
Okay.
Why now all of a sudden is Jane chopped liver, right? Because I thought Jane was the best option, and now it sounds like Jane is just gone by the wayside.
And you're not under arrest or anything like that.
I understand why you think I'm the primary suspect.
No, you're not the primary suspect. I have to work just as hard, whether you were or you're not.
Okay. I understand.
To show what your activities were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's put it this way. I think you're a straightforward person.
LOL.
And I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me.
That part's funny.
Okay.
And you haven't. So,
Hang on.
my
Listen to
thing.
her answer here as well. The okay. It's even she doesn't believe this.
And let's put it this way. I think you're a straightforward person. And I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me.
Okay.
And you have.
She laughed too. Ooh, 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 ooh. That's interesting.
So
One more time.
First, okay.
Yeah.
And let's put it this way. I think you're a straightforward person. And I think at this point, if you had anything to do with this, you'd have already told me.
Okay.
And you haven't. So,
Wow.
So my thing is that let's let the.
My ex-husband caused me a lot of grief. I would never do something like that.
I know. And it's
so
gonna.
I understand why I would be the person you would do something.
If I were in her position, if I were in an interrogation room and the detective said to me, well, yeah, I don't think you did it, because I think if you had done it, you would have told me. I'd be like, oh, fuck, I'm screwed, because that makes literally
it makes no sense. So by the way, if you guys try the link, from what I've heard recently, it might say that the link expires, and apparently if you just if you click on it and then try to open it, apparently it does work. So, but you guys can try the link for Discord, or you can just go to Discord and search for Law Squirrel and it should come up. You'll see the squangwin.
No.
Is there any way that you would think
somebody tried to kill my ex-husband? They should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Regardless of who it is.
I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my.
Oh, see, again, now I remember this from the previous times I'd watched this, but I didn't catch this the other night. Wow. Hold on. Wow. So this, you know what this is? This is what we all see them ask people, right? Like when they think the person did it, they're like, what do you think the punishment should be, right? What do you think they should, what do you think? Oh, wow.
No.
Hold on.
Your mind about what should happen to that person.
This is because I'm honestly worried.
Well, let me ask you, if you found out that this was someone that you personally know, would that change your mind about what should happen to that person?
Wow.
About what should happen to that person?
For prosecution purposes.
No.
Is there any way that you would think
somebody tried to kill my ex-husband? They should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Regardless of who it is.
I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family. Anyway.
So that right there is interesting, right? Because it's like, first of all, why would you think it should be different if it's a family member, right? You're a lawyer, like what? But second of all, I don't think. I mean, she fucked Charlie from day one, guys.
No.
Is there any way that you would think
somebody tried to kill my ex-husband? They should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Regardless of who it is.
I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family.
I don't think it was my family. I'm going to change this.
Anyone outside my immediate family, that's a tough one. Okay. But I don't think my immediate family did this. So,
okay. And she says, I don't think
anybody else.
That's insane. Yeah. You guys, that's insane.
Would you think that this guy, Charlie, would even be capable of doing something like this?
No.
That's insane.
No. It's just talk.
He's the Joker.
Okay. All right. Based on the fact that the clock is already ticking, all right, and we have to do as much work as possible up front. That's why
guys. Now remember, she's already thrown him under the bus. Y'all already know. But she says it twice back to back here. I don't think it was my family. I don't. Now, what's interesting is okay, hold on. There's more here. He's asking about Charlie specifically. Her response twice is family. Listen again.
Happen to that person.
About what should happen to that person?
For prosecution purposes.
That person, as in one person. She's dude, this is wild. She's giving him the answer right here.
No.
Is there any way that you would think
somebody tried to kill my ex-husband? They should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Regardless of who it is.
I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family.
It would be different if it were my brother, but I don't think it was my family.
Anyone outside my immediate family, that's a tough one. Okay. But I don't think my immediate family did this. So okay.
I don't think my immediate family did this. This is blowing my mind. Wow.
If it's anybody else, yeah.
Okay, you guys that are new to the Discord, I got y'all. I see you guys popping up. Everybody go say hi. If y'all are in the Discord, let's welcome everybody. Granite Junkie, that must be ABC. Tennis Girl, I think we all know who that is. Happy you guys made it. Excellent. Let me see here. Okay, I think you did DM it to me. Tennis Girl. Yeah, so all you want to do, what most people do is like Squirrel Crew is where you can, like, if you look at the different channels, and that's really fun. Like Squirrel Crew is like the different channels. So if you look there, there's a Squirrel Crew, and then we have different channels for the different cases. There's all kinds of links on there, right? Like for, pawn nerds, pictures of that, food talk, there's all kinds of stuff. So, but the general conversation usually happens in the Squirrel Crew. And then the upcoming Squirrel videos is where you guys should get notifications for upcoming videos and live streams, because we know YouTube, they don't always go through. So yeah, so that's, you guys are doing great so far. Proud of you guys for trying something new, learning. Awesome. And yeah, you can add people as friends. Of course, you can direct message on here. You can post links, you can post videos. All the things are possible on here. It's awesome. So very glad you guys joined. Right? Yeah, it's weird.
You think that this guy, Charlie, would even be capable of doing something like this?
No.
It's just talk.
He's the Joker.
Okay. All right. Based on the fact that the clock is already ticking, all right, and we have to do.
Funny he says that, right? Because the clock is ticking, and that's sort of the theme of the thumbnail with the hourglass. Like the clock is ticking, and now here we are over 10 years later. Man, I wonder if she thought she'd get away with it.
Much work as possible up front. That's why.
Yeah, I'll do
I
it.
want you to stay here,
Okay.
if at all possible.
Okay.
But you're these children's mother, and if they have somebody,
You can't freak him out, you know? Like,
nobody's gonna freak them out.
I know, I'm just saying, like, my kids, like, they're already gonna have to deal with so much. Like, they're gonna wonder where I am. And the best thing would be Lynn and Alan to have them hang around with them. My friend Janine, I was with two women. One of them is they're both doctors, but one of them has kids that the boys are friends with. And so, like, he could go over their house. They could go over their house and spend time. I don't want them like, where's mommy? What's
Mommy's
going on?
busy. Mommy's busy, can't come here right now.
Yeah, I mean, just to this comment, like, I mean, literally, I don't know if anybody ever reads the video descriptions, like, it's in the video description. And I said at the beginning of the live stream that to me, this is the most incriminating interrogation of all time. So, like, that's the reason
shout out to Iowa.
That's the reason we're watching. Like, and the reason we're watching is because of the recent news, right?
So this is in regards to me and Glenn.
You know, like, I formed an opinion, I guess, based on logic, I think, you know, and then, I mean, I'm trying to think, yeah, and then, of course, I looked into the case, right? And then I saw the evidence, and then I watched the other trials, and then, of course, it's like, yeah.
For a little bit. I don't know what that means, tennis girl, to claim your account, unfortunately.
Contact with her, left a message at Alan's office for him to call. They haven't heard back yet.
Can they page him? Like, do they have a...
Now, I know Jane's on the way here. And you just don't think she...
I mean, I think she'd be okay. I think I'd rather Jane. Jane has just never picked up my kids before.
Would the school have a problem with Jane picking them up?
Given the circumstances, no.
Okay, well, I mean, do they have to have authorization?
They're still going on with this about the kids and Jane picking them up, which is crazy.
Okay.
Go for a little bit.
Usually not pertinent to any of these discussions.
Oh, okay. This is when Glenn gets kicked.
I'm not a Republican. It doesn't matter.
This is when Glenn gets kicked out. Hold on, let me back this up. This is when Glenn gets kicked out. Hold on. This is it for Glenn.
Politics are being brought up at all. I'm really confused. I don't understand, but it's not a part of this case. It's not, I mean, honestly, it's really not even a part ever of any live streams or chats anywhere on the LawTube sphere. It's really usually not pertinent to any of these discussions. I'm not a Republican. It doesn't matter.
It's wild.
But I'm not a Republican, okay?
This was it for Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it might be time. This is just getting uncomfortable. Sorry.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys.
That's fine.
I'm really patient.
I didn't know I said it the same way last night or whatever, a couple nights ago. It's funny.
You know, it's so funny because people always ask about trolls. Well, I think we're done. I tried, and I just need to say something. I really appreciate y'all being patient.
Yep.
You know, I think we were trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, you know, and
yeah, so Glenn lasted for 3 hours and 40 minutes because the scroll crew is awesome. So that was me thanking you guys that were so tolerant. We really did our best, and then it just crossed all of the lines. So yeah.
Watch a lot of trials. Because anybody who watches trials knows that stuff doesn't come up. And the fact that, like, that was when I was like, okay, you know, because that was odd. You know what I mean? Like, not like, that's just.
And the thing is, there were other political comments before the one I put up on the screen. Again, they don't appear in the chat because I blocked them. But it was kind of getting political, and then it got worse. It was just got really, I don't even know what the right word is. It was like, it wasn't. You know, it's just not the stuff I can tolerate, you know, broad sweeping generalizations and like being really accusatory, and it wasn't even relevant to anything. And it wasn't like it was an informed political comment, right? It was just, I don't know if it was because we just were proving him wrong on every point. Maybe that was his last ditch effort. I really don't know. It was very weird. Yeah, it was, thank you. Yeah, it was nasty and judgmental. Yep. Yep. Accurate. Yeah. It was nasty and judgmental and irrelevant and uninformed. And it was, that was when you say goodbye.
Example. There were a number of comments.
Okay. So anyway, I'll just jump ahead a little bit.
That had happened. Kitsmans.
Right. So right. Apparently Glenn living in Oregon. So we're glad that Kitsmans is safe.
Okay, let's continue on. Thanks, guys.
Hi, Cheryl.
Right. Yeah, you're fine.
Shout out to Cheryl. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they didn't, push for that. But if they had, I would have stepped in. So yeah, I think it's the first time that I've had to boot anybody. I'm pretty sure. Maybe one other time, but
you know what's really funny is, so whenever people ask that question, I'm sure you guys have all seen people ask that question, like, have you ever had trolls? And it's like, yeah, not really. Like now there's a troll story. Now it's like, yep. And I got a video for it. Because for anyone who hasn't heard it already, I am making a Best of Glenn compilation video. Like there is a legit, here's the troll story. Like they were here, we tolerated them. I booted them out, and all that. Like it's a legit troll story now. So
have Jane, do you want me to talk to her? Or
oh my God, they're still talking about Jane.
School to have Jane pick the children up. I'm gonna redirect Jane to the school directly.
Okay.
It's what's
Creative Preschool. It's on Tharp. Right past there's a Magnolia School, and then there's Creative on your right.
It's right up here, right?
It's on Tharp.
Yeah, so Flash and Heather are mods. I mean, but I don't. Yeah, I've never had a mod, but yeah, they are mods. So
basically, what's happening here with Flash and Heather, their mod instincts kind of come out a little bit,
Come in the bathroom if you need to.
Okay. Do you want to go here for a minute?
Oh, you know what? I needed to timestamp me kicking Glenn out. Hold on, let me go back a little bit. Sorry, guys. Let me find the moment. Okay, let me just timestamp this, and then I'll go back to where we were.
Why politics are being brought up at all? I'm
Jane's
sorry.
Hey, Flash. The kids, and then
does she have a place to take them?
I mean, she has a nice house, a
She willing to
child-friendly
do that?
house.
I mean, I know she's on her way here.
She doesn't know
now,
what happened. I don't think she just knows I'm here.
Let's get Jane's on her way here. All right, and the school's out on Tharp, and I'm assuming she lives up in the northeast part of town.
Yeah, let's okay.
There it is. Okay, there. Now I can timestamp it, and let me go forward here.
I mean, it was tough.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk
Wow,
first, or?
that's awful.
What would you tell them what happened or no?
No.
That's why do people do stuff like that? I don't get it.
Oh my God.
I just don't get it. What do they get out of that?
Yeah. Woman with short blonde hair.
So she's describing what Jane looks like.
Okay, bye. My kid's outside playing. Ben is in the blocks area playing with blocks.
They're only a year and a half apart, so they'll be like a year
14
behind each other every time in school, right?
They have Ben's a July birthday, Lincoln's October, so they made it up a little more space.
Okay. So like have the July, he'll probably be like the young baby.
They're way off.
That was our
older.
That's what we were.
And the thing is like the broad sweeping generalizations. I just don't.
This more commentary on Glenn.
And then he didn't call me back, which was weird.
Flash, how come you're not asleep though?
Are you thirsty?
Flash, like Blackwater, was supposed to be asleep and came back.
I don't know. Why can't I not pronounce this word, guys?
Oh, I struggle with how to pronounce this word.
I can't even figure it out in my head. Eccentric. How do you say that? Somebody help me.
I figured it out due to the help of the chat.
But
I think Glenn wore out my brain on that one.
I don't even think they picked up on it.
Although also, I guess I was getting sick, but I didn't know it at the time.
And not to mention I butchered trying to say it. So thank you. DIC, because we were talking about like logic, you know? And then I was like, I don't know how to answer your question except to say that it's something is like.
Yeah, so this is where I had the idea for like squirrel logic, like LAWGIC, or squirrel logical.
Yeah, I haven't had time to go back in the Discord since this morning, but
okay, I'm just looking for a second. Oh yeah, so
one that really tried.
First troll questions.
I mean, I feel it's so funny because like I feel really bad clicking on that. You know what I mean? But like again, I don't know that any other person would have like.
I was saying I felt bad for booting him, but you know, anyway, I don't feel bad for any.
I think that was Runkle claims that, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't understand a lot of what Rolo says, so I don't know. I think I'm just not cool enough to get some of the you know, youngster slang. Is that what they call it? Yeah, there. That's my. That's what I got.
Yeah, this person. Yeah, this person. Yeah, the fight bot.
Reminiscing about fight bot. Just go for a little bit.
Victim's advocate would be like a witness for something. That was another thing of like, have you ever watched a trial?
We're still talking about Glenn, the aftermath of Glenn. At some point, we go back and revisit some of the AI moments from the other day, or like a week ago or something.
Right. Very interesting.
Wow. Glenn goes through a bunch of different emotional phases here.
You don't get to the hyperventilating crying stage unless you're like in that mode. And at that mode, it is not. It's just, I think that's accurate. Yeah, that's what I think. Yes. Yeah, we don't need anybody to be mad. It's all, I know it's like in the mod DNA.
Okay, we jump forward a little bit.
I mean, she's smiling when the lady opens the door. She's
I guess
smiling.
this is a very different version of me you saw on the stage speaking versus having.
Wow, see, I missed that. She's saying, Wendy's saying, I bet this is a really different version of me that you saw from like when I was speaking, like as from when she was giving a speech. Wow.
Yes. Thank you for that.
That's hilarious.
Yes,
That's hilarious.
Version of circumstances that happen.
Yeah, by the way, Kitsmits, you were here for this AI venture, which was so fucking funny.
Speak of the devil. What did I just mention? That is really funny. So we're going to have the AI.
You would have loved it. But
okay. I describe it and then we decide to watch it. So for anyone who missed it, or even if you didn't miss it, it's really funny. We're going to get to see some of the AI highlights here in a second. Because I end up deciding we just have to take a look. Okay. So I pull it up. Okay. I'm just going for it because I know I end up pulling it up. I'm probably pulling it up while I'm playing the video. There we go. Okay.
this is Kitsmits. Okay.
So for anyone who's here now, same thing. If you guys did, this is hilarious.
Okay, y'all. This is worth watching this little spot, especially in honor of Christmas. In honor of Christmas. Heather seems to know like everything. Shout Heather.
So this is from, I don't know, like maybe a week ago or whatever, but I pulled this up because we were talking about it. So, but we can see it again here as I'm doing these timestamps. This is amazing.
What do you guys think about this one? And also there's the boobs again. So we've searched for God and this is what we got. And also, by the way, Kitsmits, you would have appreciated, like every time there was a female, they had boob, like huge cleavage, by the way. Okay. And the thumbs up. This is how we get to the Jesus. Don't worry. Is it thinking? This is interesting. It's like it wants it to be good and not God. How does it not know that word though yet? And the other thing, consider one thing it did a lot is where you see these glasses. It did this with several of them where it like, I don't know. I don't understand. It's like trying to spell the word with the glasses. And then the other thing it did on several of them is this, the person with no eyes or nose, which I don't know. Okay. But let me go forward a little bit.
So we're going to go to the next one. So now God with a capital G.
I mean, it's got to know, right? Like it's got to. I don't know how it couldn't have. Okay. Well, now we know the capitals.
So the reason I was bringing this up is because it's like Jesus, but with wings for ears. So yeah, that's an interesting one. And then we go through a bunch of these. The pirate is funny. Anyway, this will be timestamped for anyone who wants to watch. I don't know how much longer. We do a couple of these. Oh yeah, there's Prosecutor Santa, Alien, and then I will timestamp when it goes back to the interrogation. There's Molly. Okay, I remember all this. This is so funny though. I'm just going ahead to where it goes back to the interrogation so I can timestamp it. Aha. Perfect.
Okay. Here we go.
24:45.
Yay. Yeah, you're famous, Flash. What's Adelson again? I don't remember what Adelson.
Yeah, my dog also loves his.
There was also some stuff that was reminiscent of Avatar. We had
still talking about the AI stuff.
A bell, but I wasn't quite sure where to place it. No reason to, right? There's just
Wendy's being left alone for quite a while on this one.
You know, robbing him, or right? None of those things are the case. But if they had some other separate reason, right? But like that's not the case here. The only thing they have in common and the only connection they have to him is because of her.
So one thing we talked about at one point that was interesting is that Wendi never asks questions like, was anything stolen from the house? Like there's a bunch of questions that you would think would have been like the first questions asked, you know, and she doesn't ask any of those. So. She's sitting really still there.
The family had literally no interaction with them at all at this point. You know, just her. That's not what happened. Like 3 trials, still that's crazy, right? When they're like years apart, the same dress.
So she's just, this is the longest I think they've left her alone so far. So now they're talking about O.J. Simpson. We're talking about what's going on inside her head.
Like the only, like they, like that was it. Like they practiced whatever, or did you accidentally do conflicting information?
Real quick, stay a little bit longer than you guys said who's going to get Jane and bring her here for you to see.
Alan is going to get Jane. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now Jane's going to enter. Okay, this is a big moment. We get a new character.
Seriously injured? I don't.
Good night, ABC's Docket. Thanks for being here as always. Have a good sleep.
Hi,
Annie.
Hey, 4:34.
Oh. I really needed some help, but I'm sorry, I needed to call you.
Okay, sweetie.
Did they tell you?
They didn't tell me. I know.
There's things on the news?
It is on the news, but I don't know anything. I know there was a shooting in Danny's block this morning. That's all I know.
That's all I know.
Oh dear. Oh, honey. You know how he is?
It's not good, Jane.
Really?
There's a lot of weirdness too that goes on with this Jane lady too. And people in the chat asked really good questions about her as well. And she hasn't come up in the other trials, but if indeed Wendi goes to trial, she very well may, because she might have information pertaining to Wendi that would not have been considered relevant and therefore admissible for the others.
I was driving up the street and I saw like the tape and I just thought, oh, maybe there's like an electrical outage or something. Like I saw the street blocked.
That same tired
I was
story.
driving into town. I was running errands. I was meeting some friends for lunch and I drove up Trescott because it's the shortcut. And so I drive up Trescott and I see the tape and I was like,
it's the shortcut.
I guess there was like an electrical outage because sometimes we'd have trees that would fall or whatever. And so I turned around.
Another great question, tennis girl, right? What the people who had lunch with her would say. Yeah. Again, it's interesting because, again, if Wendi does go to trial, there will be witnesses. Again, that's another great point. That would be relevant, like specific to Wendi. We could get a lot of new information. Well, we definitely will get a lot of new information.
And didn't think anything of it. I was at lunch with 2 friends and the officer shows up. And I've been here since then.
And you don't have a phone?
Well, I had a phone. I said you can search my phone because maybe they
One thing that's wild for anyone who has watched this before, but you might have missed it because it was easy to miss. There's a point, and I'm sure I'll timestamp it when we get there, but where Wendi looks at Jane's phone and like reads her text message and shit. It's crazy.
Find something useful on it.
We have to go through a lot of these steps, and as I was explaining to her, it's just as much effort to go through the steps to exclude anybody that could possibly be involved.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So we have her phone.
Yes,
as soon as apparently it's taking a little bit longer than normal, and as soon as
that's another great point there too, because in 2014, I mean, that's a good point. I really don't know. It would be Best Buy is what they say, but that's a good point. I mean, I feel like TV repairmen maybe weren't necessary since like the 1990s, but just to say this out loud here, DSN, I went down Trescott on the shortcut and my mom has late stages Alzheimer's. Spot on as always for that.
Get down with the phone, she'll get it back. Yeah. So but the main thing I was concerned about is the kids need to be picked up on Friday.
Right. And so when I came and they said they'd spoken to the Grossmans, I was like, I'll get the kids. I'm a social worker. I've picked up kids that don't know me before, but I think especially given this.
I gave them your name and Lynn's name and said, I think like Alan and Lynn have done it. Like when Danny had his back surgery, Alan and Lynn did it before. So because I was out of town, so like they've done it before. They've got 4 kids, so they can.
I have, you're gonna be here for a while, you want me to say so like I might have a blanket in my car or something?
Do we have anything here or they all been used?
Somebody who could get me?
Like we can't just bring in your blanket from your car, ma'am. What are you thinking? So this is when they get her that police coat thing, but a blanket from Jane's car. What?
This one is freezing.
And I apologize. I thought about that when she was shivering earlier, but I guess got a lot of stuff.
No, certainly there's the most important thing. It's not the most important thing.
No. I saw her shivering and I kept thinking, I'll go out and find out if they had a bunch of them. They had a bunch of them, but I don't know what's still available.
So what do you mean he's not good? What do you know about this?
I don't think he's gonna make it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's just. Yeah.
Really?
Sorry, I just have to do a funny comment here, just in my brain, thinking about Glenn, right? Like, according to Glenn, the victim's advocate's notes would be like, she is distraught and not faking it. Sorry, there you go. How about a nice blue tarp to put over your shoulders? Classic. Can't go wrong with that, right? Side note, the tarp raincoat. Oh my God, tarp raincoat also mentioned in the appeal. Of course. This is so much strangeness. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm losing my voice. Can you guys tell? I feel like I'm starting to fade with my voice and I'm feeling my throat and all that. For anyone who's missed it, I've been really sick and I was finally starting to feel like I was having a little bit of an upswing, and I'm sure that's still the case, but that's part of why I was like, you know what, this will be a timestamp and chill stream, because I knew I probably wouldn't be able to have my voice work as long as usual, whether it be reading documents or giving commentary on a whatever. But also, again, this was just because I missed you guys and I was going to be working on these anyway. And I'm so happy that so many of you guys showed up. It was awesome. Uncivil Law was here earlier as well. And this was just sort of on a whim, right? Because I was feeling like a little bit more human. But I think I've reached my limit here, especially because I'm sure you guys can tell my voice is going. So I'm probably going to call it here, though. But this was so much fun, and I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I couldn't agree more, right? Too bad these trials don't have crossovers like sitcoms yet. Make sure to bring water in the yeah. You guys are all, we have the best group here, the wittiest, the funniest, the smartest. It is awesome. Y'all are so funny. But if I'm hoping that, you know, maybe I'll be even more back to normal tomorrow. And so for tomorrow, we're going to have tomorrow night, I believe it will be the Shannon Gardner Death Penalty Motions Part 1. And then again, assuming I'm continuing on an upward trajectory here, on Monday, we will have the next Casey Anthony episode, as well as Murdoch Appeal Part 2. So all of that and more, of course. As always, I keep my eyes peeled for any new documents out of the other cases too. But y'all are awesome. And I just appreciate so much that you guys came to hang out when this was, again, just sort of on a whim. We will all listen to the Maestro. Everyone go in the Discord and listen to the Maestro song. And remember, that was Charlie Adelson's vanity plate on his Ferrari. Oh my God, Heather, like MTV Real World, put them all in a house together. Yes, please. Oh my God. You know what's so funny? There's so many of these people that would love to be on that show, right? So many would love to be on that show. Wow. Yeah, definitely. Could also be like The Office, also one of my favorite shows of all time. Love it. Love it. Love it. Black Widow enjoyed the sleepover because remember, she's asleep right now. Y'all are the best. Y'all are just absolutely the best. So yeah, and I'm sorry to end the party early compared to how long these usually go, but interrogation tape. Right, yes, interrogation tapes are auditions for sure. For sure. Yes. Yeah, everyone, because they all have their Oscar moment too, right? We even said that with Wendi the other night. Some have more than one. Sarah Boone, I mean, you know. Yep. Thanks, Black Widow. And you guys, I hope you guys all stay healthy and everything. So yeah, but y'all are the best. Love y'all. Love the Squirrel Crew. Stay safe out there. And remember, if ever you find yourselves in one of these rooms, either say the word lawyer or write it down, as Kurt from Uncivil Law reminded us. And you can even do it in block letters. That's totally fine. Make it decorative. That's all good. Just don't say anything. But yeah, I think that'll be it for this one. And I will finish these timestamps in due course. And we'll see you guys on the next one. And love y'all. See you guys next time.